let's sing the song. From island to island, strong with the host, we belong. Energy high, heart so bright. Tune in, feel the light. Global love taking flight. Every ride a sheer delight. Making waves across the seas. Love and joy in the breeze. Ride along live if you please. Bringing hope with ease. Ride along, join the dance, let's sing the song. From island to island, strong with the host, we belong. Energy high, heart so bright. Tune in, feel the light. Global love taking flight. Every ride a sheer delight. Making waves across the seas. Love and joy in the breeze. Ride along live if you please. Bringing hope with such ease. Ride along, join the dance, let's sing the song. From island to island, strong with the host, we belong.
Mark your calendars, Grenada, for one spectacular event. Join us at the Bushes U playing field on Sunday, March 2nd for the National Democratic Congress sensational rally from 4 p.m. Be inspired by our distinguished guests, including Prime Minister Roosevelt Scarrett of Dominica and Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre of St. Lucia. Plus hear from our very own political leader and Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell and more.
I am a
Enjoy electrifying performances from top artists like Young Man, Booba, Rooney J. Also Mandela Links, Squeezehead, and Muddy.
Of course, we always up in the front.
This is your chance to engage, be inspired, and celebrate with us. Don't miss out on this unforgettable rally. Organize your transportation and your flags, bandanas, drums, shells, bells, and head down to Bushes U to be part of this transformation.
Cause I believe in the truth, and I just wanna live good.
Looking for the ultimate island experience? Hop on the Ride Tuk Tuk Rum Punch Tour and explore Grenada like never before. Feel the tropical breeze, sip on authentic Caribbean rum punch, and cruise through Grenada's stunning scenery in our unique and fun tuk-tuks. It's the perfect blend of adventure and island flavor. Book your unforgettable tour now at ride.gd or call 473-422-1011. Don't just see Grenada, experience it with Ride Tuk Tuk Rum Punch Tours today.
Yeah! Back! Welcome to Ridealong Live for today. It is Monday! Yeah? Press the wrong button. Where's my screams? Where's my yays? Alright, guys. Welcome to Ridealong Live. I am happy to be back in the air chair. First of all, guys, let me apologize. Last week, I know we had a kind of on and off kind of thing going on, and then I had to travel. So you guys didn't see me for 2 days, right? But let me tell you now that we are back and in full effect and expect a full lineup of programs, even on a Friday. We're back with Right Trivia this Friday, fully back. All right? Yeah, I had to take a little time away, mind my own business a little bit, but no, everything is safe, everything is secure. I am back to take care of the business. Okay? Sticking. Yeah, Lacey J, how you doing? Yeah, man. I'm happy to be back, although I feel kind of awkward because while I was away, they got me some new toys. Like they got me a new chair, like a new table, some new lights and stuff like that. And, you know, so I have to kind of get used to it. Get used to the whole thing again. Carla, how you doing? All right, guys, this is what I want you to do. Today, we're going to have a very interesting conversation, right? This is a debate. Because what's happening is this Sunday, the NDC is actually celebrating a full half term, right? A full half term. They at the halfway mark. 2.5 years. So they're celebrating with a grand rally, right? And I figure like we need to have a debate, a conversation on both sides, or people that might look at things a little bit differently, and we can have this debate, this conversation. So this is not only a conversation about everything is hunky-dory and amazing and fine. There might be some people who have a contrast of opinion on the government's performance. So I decided that, yes, let's do it. Let's have this conversation. Now, some of you guys, I don't understand all you. I don't understand all you. Because as much as we say that everyone have a story to tell, oftentimes, you the viewers only want to hear one side of it. But that's not what I'm about, right? I want to bring a conversation where both sides could be ventilated. Like you could speak about what's happening here and what's happening here. That's what we are looking to do. So when I put up the flyer for the program, I got people saying, oh, why are you bringing this one on the program? Why are you bringing that one? We don't want to hear from this one. We don't want to hear from that one. But that's not what Ridealong is all about. We are getting all sides of the story. Hence the reason why we say everyone have a story to tell, right? And I got to thank and big up my producer, Lois JJ, because she understands that, and she ensures that we always have of both sides of every argument, of every story. All right, so that's what we are going to be venturing to do today. Now, 3 of the individuals on the platform, you already know who they are. They've been here before, but we have a brand new guest, right? You haven't seen him on the platform before. However, he has been, posting and vlogging, sometimes very controversial, sometimes hitting on me, sometimes, hitting on some of my other guests. He's very opinionated, and that's what we want. We want opinionated people, and I like that. Let's have a conversation. Good? Nice. So here's what I want you guys to do now. I want you guys to @followers right now. @followers. Just do it for me really quickly. @followers. And when you do that, all of your followers are going to get notification that we're about to start. All right? You're going to be doing a lot of people some good because they want to get in on this conversation. @followers, everybody. @followers. @followers. Let me see. @followers. Lacey J, @followers. Everybody tag a few friends, @followers, because this is what, cut everything off, else off. Like, just cut, if someone calling you, just ignore the call. This is the most important conversation that you should be listening to right now. @followers. Akeem, how you doing? Lois, how you doing? @followers. Val, John, thank you so much. Because this is the cast. You see them? Them fellas and them, they're ready. They are ready. You can't get more ready than that. Let's open their microphone. You know them very well while I open up their microphones. He is, of course, a very controversial figure, always speak his mind, sometimes hated, but loved as well. He is a former MP in government. Ladies and gentlemen, you know him well, Mr. Michael Batiste. Everybody love Michael Batiste. And of course, you know him well also, Ian Django Thomas. He speaks his mind. Django is one of the regular on the program. He's oftentimes on the program as a contributor, right? And Mr. Cam Jones, I don't think he needs any introduction. Cam Jones is a friend of the platform. He has his own very popular program as well on social media. You guys know Cam. You guys love Cam. Hate him or love him, Cam does what he does. Cam does what he does. And of course, first time on the platform, he is a vlogger. He's an equal opportunity disrespecter. But he goes straight across the board, right? He's from my village also, in Lidealong, in the rural general area there. And his whole family has been years and years and years in media. This guy is, you're going to learn a lot more about him. He even speak, I think he speaks German or something like that. I'm going to learn some words from him.
A little bit.
It's Mr. Perry Campbell. Yeah. Done with the music, and let's bring in my guests and them. Fellas, how you guys doing? How things?
Doing great. Feeling dank.
Feeling dank.
Feeling dank. Happy to be here.
Nice. All right, so let's good. So let's start with the newbie in the midst, Mr. Perry himself. Perry, before we start, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, just a humble guy who's just interested in what's going on in Grenada. For more reasons than one, we may have vested interest in Grenada. So we definitely want to see, things are happening and things are going really well.
Nice. Okay. Mr. Batiste, how you doing, my friend? How you been?
I am on top of the world. Pleasant evening to all the listeners out there, and I see my very dear friend Kem. I haven't seen him for how long, Kem? Since the last time we met in St. Andrews.
Yes.
Django, I see now and again, and of course, Mr. Perry. Well, we sometimes cross paths and cross swords on Facebook, so I'm happy to meet him live today.
Pleasure's mine.
I'm looking forward to a good program.
Absolutely. And of course, Mr. Ian Django Thomas. Django, how you feeling, boy? How things? Hold on, let me unmute you, Django. Probably unmute you. Hold on. Django, try again. Django, try again.
No, I'm good.
All right, you good now? Yeah.
Yes, I'm good. Yeah, man, I'm good and good spirits. I'm happy to be part of the contributors and interacting with this well-known gentleman on your program this evening, man.
Yeah, man.
They make me feel like I'm somebody in the company of such esteemed individuals.
I hear that. And the man himself who needs absolutely no introduction. Kem, how you been, my friend?
Well, I'm under the weather. I have the flu or the cold, and most people here in Grenada have something similar to what I have, but the journey continues, and I'm so happy to be on this program, a very popular program, with men who will agree from time to time and disagree from time to time. But at the end of the day, we are Grenadians, and we want the best for Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. So, Perry, it's a pleasure. I mean, I met you in person. We had lunch together in New York. Michael, only recently, we knocked a glass, and Ian, I spoke to you sometime this morning. So we are family in all of this. So I look forward to a good conversation.
Absolutely. So let me start in that order. So Perry, we are aware that the government of the day, the NDC celebrating its midterm is at halfway there into their 5-year term. What's your idea? How do you see, or what are your thoughts on how the government is performing right now?
Well, I must say that some will say that they're disappointed. And I think that is because there was so much expectation because you had a new, fresh blood on the scene. So people were expecting a lot more things to be done. But I also have to say that we do understand that there is a little bit of inexperience. So the learning curve might be a little higher and harder for them. But generally, I would say a lot of people would feel like they're a little bit disappointed and they have not lived up to what was expected.
Okay, all right. Interesting point of view. Michael, what's your take? Just a brief introduction on what you think of the government performance at this point in the halfway mark. I know. Okay. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
I think they're quite happy to be celebrating 2.5 years. Of course, if I was a cricketer, I would say I haven't seen much runs on the board. There's not a whole lot to celebrate over the years. Over the 2.5 years, the Prime Minister have been mainly an absentee Prime Minister, creating a serious void of leadership in the country. When he's here, he has been slipping and sliding on some of the issues. The marketing board, for one, that he claimed that he would come in 6 months. It's been 2.5 years counting, and we have not heard anything on the marketing board. Then he came back, he said, we're going to have statutorization of the hospitals. And that's a very critical thing because, the people are anxious to hear what's really happening with that. Are we going to have statutorization? And if we do, how is that going to pan out? Are the people on the bottom of the ladder, would they be able to go to the hospital? Would they stay home and die and so on? What's that going to be? Then we heard he made mention about farmers getting assistance in purchasing trucks with solar panels going around the country, selling fruits and vegetables that will replace the marketing board. Of course, that's to me like he gave up on that. He gave up on that idea, and then after burial, he proudly proclaim to our young people of Grenada that they will start planting black pepper. I don't know how well that's going. So all in all, I would say I think the NDC and the supporters are grateful that they have defeated the new National Party. I think it's a celebration that they probably didn't have after the election. They're celebrating that they have defeated the new National Party and there's a new Prime Minister and so on. But in terms of assistance, in terms
Right.
of programs of substance, especially to rural Grenada, I have not really seen much happening in rural Grenada. So I wouldn't say the celebration should not be jubilant, but in terms of economics, progress, and directions of the country, I'm not so sure that there's much to be celebrated there.
Okay, point taken right there. Django, what's your take? What's your score on how the government is performing currently? Django, are you muted
Yeah,
again?
I'm unmuted now. Yes.
Go ahead.
Well, as I was listening to to my other two brothers, I took the opportunity to pull up the manifesto of what was presented during the elections campaign, and I must say I am not 100% satisfied with the performance of the government. But if I was to score the performance from a layman's perspective, they would get way more than a passing grade. Furthermore, they would get a SGU passing grade because SGU's passing grade is above 70%. So at this point, I would give the National Democratic Congress an SGU passing grade based on what was promised in the manifesto. I'm not too certain if anybody else has a copy of the manifesto, because to judge a political organization, you ain't judging on what they didn't promise you. You judge on what was promised. And I believe the conversation should surround what was promised and not our own perceptions and what we hoped for and what we thought they would have done. But let us judge them on what they did, what they offered in 2022, and what was delivered. So I would allow other individuals to go through. We could probably go through the page 10 and page 11 of what was promised, and then we could make a debate around the promises, if it was delivered or not. So I'll allow the others to go through it if they didn't have a copy of it as yet.
Right. Okay. Kim, based on what you've seen so far, the government is halfway there. What's your take on the performance thus far?
All right, thank you, Junior. I'm a realist. I exist in a real world, and what I do know, no one is perfect, and you don't expect to get a perfect government in 2.5 years. What I can tell you, the NNP was in power for 23.5 years, and they were not able to pay the pensioners, the 500 and something pensioners who retired after working with government for so long. They were not able to pay them. The NDC came into power, and within a matter of months, they were able to pay them. What I can tell you, the NNP was in power for 23.5 years, and they docked the salaries of public workers around on Christmas time to hurt them, to harm them, and the NDC was able to give them back their money. What I can tell you, I have grown so accustomed to an NNP where public officers had to march and protest and fight for a little increase, but the NDC gave 13% increase with fringe benefits and so on to workers, police officers, nurses, teachers across the board. What I can tell you is that the NNP was in power for 13.5 years, and they said that the bi-monthly salary payment would not work. It's not feasible, but we see it working today. What I can tell you is that the NNP was in power for 23.5 years, and the TAMCC workers, they were out there protesting day after day after day, and the NDC came into power and just paid them their money, and they're back to work, and the environment there is conducive for everyone. What I can tell you, the NNP was in power for 23.5 years, and the NDC came in 2 years and on months, and we see a free tuition policy for young rural Grenadians, not having to pay $810. The parents, get a big weight coming from their back because of the NDC administration. What I can tell you, the NDC only in power for 2.5 years, and you look at the free hot meal program, feeding 13,000 students every day, a hot meal, free. Yeah, universal education, over $100 million worth of scholarships given by the NDC, new schools being built and some being refurbished. You talk about Grenadian history being back in school. You talk about TVET, foreign language being introduced. You talk about the first generation scholarships. No conman came into Grenada in recent times, no fraudster, no convestor, no scandal broke out within the last 2 years and a half. I mean, I can talk about more because my list is really lengthy, but I can tell you, I'm impressed with this young team of men and women who are patriotic, who believe in this country, and who wants to see good for Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. I have a lot to talk about. In fact, I have not even yet got started on the first page, much less. So we have a lot to talk about.
Yeah. Perry, Kem stated a lot of things there, right? What is Kem seeing that you probably not seen, or probably Michael haven't seen, or what the general population haven't seen? What is contrasting? What's different?
Well, I'll tell you this, we can speak loftily about all sort of things that really sometimes don't matter to people. And the man on the ground, I think he's more concerned with bread and butter issues, things that are tangible and that directly affect him. For example, we keep harping about paying the pensioners. And we have to ask ourselves, was paying the pensioners a good thing, considering the consequences that is facing the country currently? So was coming in, seeing $500 million in a treasury, taking that money and paying the pensioners, in the long term, was that a good thing for Grenada? No, we have to borrow over $700 million just to balance our budget. And so one would ask the question, why didn't we borrow some money, keep our liquid cash? To me, that's fundamental economics. If you have liquid cash, you don't dispense of your liquid cash. You hold on to your liquid cash, borrow some money, do what you have to do to pay your expenses, and then you still have your liquid cash. But instead, I think it was rather impulsive to come into government, see $500 million in a treasury, and take most of it and pay a pension. And I understand you campaigned on paying a pension, so you felt compelled to do it when you get in. But this is politics. When you get into politics and you see what's going on, you have to think about the long-term best interests of the country, not the short-term, or not to do things to get political mileage, immediate political mileage. But then later on, it ends up in a crisis, like we have right now.
Right. I see that look on Kem's face. Kem look confused.
Yeah, no, I'm not confused. I'm here, laughing somewhat because Perry's actually saying exactly what the government is actually doing. That's what he's actually saying.
I don't think
one, the 500 plus families who received their pension and their gratuity, it was not a favor that the government did for them. That's their money. It's just that the NNP was not paying them what was rightfully theirs. So they got their money. And we see today that they are repairing their homes. We see they're investing that money and they're transforming the rural economy. They're transforming Grenada. But here it is. Let me go further. Do you know that borrowing 700 and something million, this thing is nothing new? All governments borrow to fund, to finance the budget. And Michael will tell you that. Michael was in government. This is nothing new. In fact, the former Minister of Finance, Anthony Boson, came out only recently and said it very clear that this thing is nothing new. What we must be concerned about is whether or not the loans are commercial or whether they are commercial interest rates are concessional, whether it's 0 point something percent or 1%. These things are not new, and it's to support the capital end of the budget. The new hospital, for example, the new school, the one in St. Andrew Grenville, St. Andrew Anglican Primary School, the St. David Catholic Secondary School, the many police stations that they built in the Grenville police station. And we can go on and on. These are for capital projects, not for recurrent expenditure like paying salaries and meeting pension requirements and so on. We are not in any crisis in Grenada financially. No, the government is prudent. They're smart. They have cash, as you said, liquid cash. Well, they have cash. They have liquid. They have money. They don't have to just pick up all that money and just go spending it all over the place. No, they're taking loans like any other government would do, and that's kind of normal. That's nothing is wrong about that. But right now, Junior, in Grenada, if you're looking for a carpenter, you can't find one easy. If you're looking for a mason, you can't find one easy. If you're looking for a plumber, electrician, somebody in the technical and vocational area, you can find these people because why? Jobs are being created. People are constructing homes, new homes, buildings, roads, infrastructure. Things are happening in the country. And we are proud of that. We are happy about that. And that's the reality. That is why I started up the program by saying, I live in the reality.
Right. Let's go to Michael. I'll come back to you, Perry, and of course, not forgetting Django as well. But Michael, was paying the salaries, not the salaries, the pension a prudent thing to do when at the entrance coming into government?
The pension could have been paid, but it didn't have to be paid in a lump sum. It could have been spread out over a period of time because obviously what we are seeing now is as a result of paying the pension, there's a lot of problems in social programs. When you go to the hospitals, you would find there's no medication there. Some of the school feeding program is on pause as a result of that. When you look at rural Grenada, some places in rural Grenada is looking like the Gaza Strip. Now, I heard Kim mention about the revitalization of the rural economy. I don't know. I live in rural Grenada, and I don't know exactly what he's talking about. But let's look at the pension a bit. The government paid the pension. They realized that it was a mistake to do everything to pay out the lump sum. So they went into Parliament now, and they're saying the exact thing that the former government said: pension reform, and that is what the then Prime Minister Kit Mitchell was telling the nation. He didn't say we didn't have to pay, but he said we must have pension reform because if we continue on the present system that we have, it will bankrupt the country. And just how did we get there? Let's go back a little bit. After the intervention, USAID and the World Bank and the IMF came together and they came up with a program called retrenchment, a voluntary retrenchment. And they paid out a lot of people in the service. They gave them a golden handshake and they promised not to bloat the service because we could not sustain that. They offered constitutional reform at the time. They said we must have constitutional reform. And one of the reasons that all governments, including the NDC, wanted constitutional reform is for the very said thing to structure the 1958 Pension and Gratuity Act as it is now. So this government now is saying the identical thing that the NNP was saying. We must have pension reform. And they went and they passed a law in the Parliament. I don't know if it is constitutional because seeing that the 1958 Act, Pension and Gratuity Act, is a constitutional provision which requires a 2/3 majority. I don't know. I am not a lawyer, but I'm sure that will be tested to see if they can go through that. So they're singing the same song that the NNP song. Let's look in terms of development. This government have nothing to show for 2.5 years as any development that has been done in rural Grenada. Can talk about carpenters and masons and all hard to find. That's nothing new. Under the new National Party, construction was booming in the St. George's area because based on the CBI recipients were required to do a project. No, that's not so now. That has been changed. There's a major project taking place in the northern part of the country. That is a leftover project from the new National Party. There's a lot of project that is ongoing that this government have nothing to do. So what the activities that we see in construction, it just happened to be taking place, a continuation of what they met. But in terms of instituting new programs and coming up with a strategic plan to resurrect our rural economy, that is lacking. We came out of COVID, and then we had Beryl with the dry part of Grenada. So I am not quite sure of these economic activities that my dear brother Kim is talking about. It's not. It may be at the top, but it's definitely not hitting the ground.
Right. Ian, how do you respond to that? Michael is saying not much economic activities, not a lot happening there. From your vantage point, what do you see? What are you hearing? What are you feeling about
Well,
that?
last week I took my time to drive up to Dunfermline St. Andrew. That is another promise that was made by the National Democratic Congress during the campaign. Project 500. Every day, the Housing Authority of Grenada is begging for workers. They can't find nobody to work. They're building about 170 houses in Dunfermline. That too is it an NNP project? That was because I'm looking at my manifesto is on my screen here. Yes, my manifesto is open on the screen here, and that is an NDC project that is providing low-income houses for Grenadian young men and women, professionals, whosoever it is that want it, and we can't find laborers to do the work. Right now, there's a company out there Trinidad that come and bring in laborers and workers. So Kem point is correct. You cannot find labor here to execute the projects that is on its way. We have schools to be built. We have the Grenville police station. You see, it's close to me. It's very close to me because as I was just telling Perry, I'm a Grenville boy. My whole life is Grenville. How is it? We have to be looking for a place now to house the Grenville police station. Why we have to look for a place to house Grenville police station? No planning. No planning. No interest. I went to the Grenville police station and what I'm telling you is actual facts, about probably 5 months ago. And a policeman, he called me in the room and he showed me the ceiling of the station. I took my phone there, right there, and I called the Prime Minister. And he said, Django, you're away, and we're working on renovating this thing or figuring it out. And to speak about this right now, provisions are being made to rectify the problem. There's a building adjacent to the Grenville police station that is being renovated and retrofitted to accommodate the policemen and women. There are other places we have to send them. If emphasis was placed on the rural economy, as we like to cry about the rural economy. If any emphasis was placed on the rural economy, today that was not an issue. The Grenville police station wasn't going to be in that deplorable state that it is in right now if we had planning and if we had focus for the rural economy and if we had respect for them, for the people of St. Andrew. We had 4 members of parliament, 2 terms in succession, not a capital project in St. Andrew. Now we want to cry. 2.5 years, we want to cry. We want to cry. The housing project in Dunfermline is a new project that the NDC has created, creating jobs and opportunities for hundreds of people. So we shouldn't be crying. We should give them commendation. They could have just left it, and continue giving out plywood and fixing people's houses. But the government of the day decides, you know what? We need to elevate the quality of life and standard of living of our people. And let us provide good houses for these people. Let us invest in proper environments. Let's build community. Let's have green spaces. Let us have the children grow in environments that is nurturing for good behavior.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
So we shouldn't call foul now. We should have called foul 6 years ago, 7 years ago,
Right.
10 years ago.
Right. Perry, what says you, sir?
Well, the thing about it, the NDC is in a very difficult situation. And I want Django to understand that. Let's talk about relationships. When you exit a relationship, the anticipation, the hope is that you're getting to a much better relationship. You can exit a relationship, you can fire an employee, get a new employee, and then expect, oh, that employee you just got is going to perform exactly as your previous employee. That new employee has to produce much more, exceedingly much more, to say, boy, you know what? I made a good decision. I have a new employee. So the NDC have to understand that they're being employed as the government of the day. They have to exceed what was done by the NNP. And to point a little to what Mr. Batista said, the fact is, what new project has the NDC embarked on? Then we're talking about, you're saying, okay, well, there's a problem of sourcing manpower, and which I have to give the Prime Minister, Deacon Mitchell, credit for that, because he did say there's an issue with technical resources and manpower and stuff like that. But as a manager or as a director or as the leaders of government, you cannot make excuses if you don't have materials. You cannot make excuses if you don't have technical resource, if you don't have manpower. That is part of what is expected of you, to be able to solve these problems and make things happen. Nobody's gonna give you kudos for not being able to do these things. I mean, there've been situations that I heard of what 50 homes supposed to be done in PT Martinique or Caricom PT Martinique, and we're hearing about 3. Then we heard about a whole bunch was supposed to be done in St. Mark's and St. Patrick's. Where's the delivery? Then you're talking about dumb funding, and then you're here making an excuse about manpower. If you don't have the manpower locally, then source it elsewhere. The key is that you have to do what you have to do to get the job done. And then I would like you to name one new project that was instituted, that was initiated by the NDC.
Let me jump in because I notice how we operated. We quick to take credit for the continuation of a project that was started by the NNP, but the criticism for the failures, why is it we don't have a technical school pumping out tradesmen and women after 23 years as a government that focused millions or hundreds of millions on the Imani program? How is it? We did not establish a technical school. Yes, where we could have 500 masons coming out every 5 months, 600 carpenters coming out every year, 1,000 tilers. We can't get sheetrock workmen in Grenada. Sheetrock has been an old technology. We can't find competent sheetrock workers to do any large-scale project. So how it is we could point out NNP projects as a success that we continue, but we cannot point out the deficiency that they did not create the foundation to create employment and create real workers for real work in the world outside here. How we can point that out?
Well, we can beg the question then. I mean, I'm talking 30 years ago. You talk about there's no technical school. I would hate to believe that is the case. I mean, over 30 something years ago, I went to what was called the National College back in the days, T.A. Marshall Community College, I think it's called now, right? And at that time, we had a section, the GTVI, which was a technical vocational institute. What has happened to that institute? Then in my time, there was also the new law. What about the new law? The new law has been around for decades. So let me ask you this question. If there is a lack of technical guys, then how did the NNP build all the infrastructure that they built in the time that they built it? Where did they get the manpower? All of a sudden, we don't have manpower? Manpower is a problem?
We had to import labor, and we're still importing labor. Silverstone was built by importing labor.
Michael, I'm going to come to you in a quick while. I have to mute you temporarily. Hold on 1 second. Michael, sorry, no disrespect, but what happened, I'm getting an echo from you, so I had to mute your audio temporarily while you're having a conversation, but I'll bring you back in a quick second, Michael. Finish up, Django. And
yes, I'm saying, we cannot be serious about development and not go back to the foundation where we lapsed. We dropped the ball, and we've been dropping the ball for many years. Many projects. I want to speak in particular to the Balthazar Bridge. I see somebody just posted, and that is something that has been on my chest for a long time. You tell me something. We took millions of dollars to build that bridge with a visionary leader, as we used to call him. And today, less than 20 years later, we have to redo that bridge. Terry?
Right. Okay.
Well, again, we have to understand you cannot justify your failure by pointing to your ex's failure.
Foundation was not
you just can't do that. And we're talking about technical ability and technical training. Listen, technical training is not a difficult thing, unless we don't know what we're talking about. Because in 3 to 6 months, I guarantee you, with the right leadership, and I'm talking about leadership in terms of construction, you can, in 3 to 6 months, you can have that 500 guys trained in basic masonry and basic sheetrocking and stuff like that. This is not a difficult thing. Grenadian people are very smart people, and they can pick up things very quickly. I mean, the population is a population that's very good with their hands.
Right.
So that in itself cannot be an excuse.
Let's Michael, what says you on this?
Well, I heard Django. You don't mind if I say Django, do you, Benny?
No, that's how most people know him. That's how most people know.
All right. I already said nothing was done. Let me go back a little bit, my brother. That police station was repaired in 95. That was before Ivan. And it was repaired after Ivan. That police station is on the mouth of the sea, and it requires constant repairs at the mouth of the sea. You said nothing was done in terms of the brand new market in Grenville, the bus terminal, the abattoir, and that Dunfermline that you're talking about. I was the minister who acquired the lands there for low-income housing. The NDC did not initiate Dunfermline housing project. What they're doing, they're piggybacking on a project that was in motion.
But that's the same point I'm making. We point out the good.
Please don't tell me nothing was done. I could join with you if you say more could have been done by maybe more aggressive representation. I would say yes. But don't say nothing was done, because I could identify a whole lot that was done.
Right.
In
Okay.
terms
Hold
of
on.
Three projects in just like Grenville.
Django, let me finish up, and then we'll come to him, and then we'll come to you.
You said no technical education, my brother. I am a past student of technical wing, and the brother said when the Bishop regime came in, they changed the name to GB. What was it, my brother? Whatever.
GTVI.
Right. And the present and the former government had the technical wing, where folks went in and studied technical studies, and they were backed up by NULO and so on and so forth.
Absolutely.
What we should be saying is that the schools have done a disservice to our students. And it's not just now. We emphasize on academic education, and we paid little, we gave little attention to technical education. I saw the need many years ago when our young people was on the block. And what did I do? I started out from St. Andrews Southwest all the way up to St. Mark's, teaching young people marketable skills. I enlisted the support of other technical people in plumbing, electrical, auto mechanic. And I said, look, we have got to the point now where we need to teach our young people in school that academic education is no longer the way forward. When you have a technical
point, but comrade, you alone is not an institution. My point is, we did not set up institutions to facilitate the young men and women.
Institutions were there.
No. Let me interject here a little.
Institutions are there.
Hold on.
Folks were going They were going to National College and doing refrigeration. They were going to NULO and doing refrigeration. Let us say that enough emphasis have not been placed on technical education.
Okay, all right. Hold on one second, guys.
Refrigeration.
Right.
We have a higher demand. Furthermore, let me tell you something.
Right.
One technician, a refrigeration technician, can service 100 refrigerators. One carpenter cannot do it. We need to pump out more carpenters. These are essential areas. So we need to have multiple of carpenters and plumbers and masons going out.
Right. Okay. Kem, it seems like you go, boss.
Yes. Thank you, Junior. Yeah, I was here. Firstly, let me say government is a continuum. You do not expect a new administration to scrap all that the previous one had in train and start anew. This is foolishness at the highest level, if anybody think that is what should happen. So the NDC, when they were removed from power, they had a lot of projects and programs in the pipeline. The NDC came in and they implemented them, they continued them. Those that needed to be adjusted, they did so. The NDC came into power, they made programs and projects and so on in the pipeline, and it was prudent on their part to continue them, to enhance upon them. to, do some revamping in some cases, do some little changes in some cases, but at least they continue those projects. There are projects that Michael spoke about a while ago in St. Andrew, and these are NDC projects. I don't know if he's aware of that he actually mentioned. These are NDC projects. The market piece and that, and they were actually done on the NDC. But anyways, I want to make this point. Youth in Agriculture, that's an initiative by the NDC, where you have 100 plus young people pursuing agriculture as a career, being trained and given a start. You have women in agriculture. In fact, youth in agriculture is about $3 million invested there. Women in agriculture, it's another program, another initiative by the NDC administration, $7 million invested there. Digital work, the digital workforce initiative, where you have 100 plus young Grenadians receiving training, right, from an institute from Canada in ICT, in data analysis and cybersecurity and so on. When they graduate from that, they go straight into the workforce, the workplace. It's a guarantee. Once they're successful there, scholarships are being given also for people in agriculture itself. I know of colleagues who in Guyana went to Guyana and other places pursuing a career in agriculture. Look, you talk about the police station, because for me, I am about facts. I live in a real world. I'm not about this opinion and being emotional and anything. You have the police headquarters. The NDC came into power in 2.5 years, and we have a police headquarters today. In fact, I remember Keith Mitchell promising a police headquarters, a prison complex, and a whole pile of thing somewhere in 2018, right? That's the NDC's project. They did it, all right? And give them kudos at the St. Paul's police station. They refurbished, renovated, reconditioned that facility for the police officers. You talk about Beryl, yes, it came, it affected so many people. The police officers, they were affected too. But look at the Hillsborough police station, totally transformed, right? And some may say, well, thanks to Beryl, but at the end of the day, the government saw the need to refurbish that facility. Then you look at the Grenville police station, they're going to refurbish that, upgrade it, modernize it. Then you have some smaller police stations that they have done work on. But it speaks to the maintenance issue that the NNP administration had. Yes, they may do stuff, but they never maintain stuff. That is why Michael spoke about the police station in Grenville in 1995. Some work was done there, but not constant maintenance, not constant upgrades. And, you see medical stations being refurbished and upgraded now. A lot is being done. But at the end of the day, government is a continuum. You don't expect to say NNP, who've been there 23.5 years in power, and you look at NDC 2.5 years. I'm talking about that's a difference of what? 20-something years, 21 years and some, right? Or 21 years. That's a difference of 21 years. You want NDC to fix every damn shit in this place in 2.5 years? It's not possible. It will never be possible. And I am saying, yes, you could give them blows on some areas, and you have a right to do so. But there are things that you must acknowledge that they have done and done it well. And we must commend them and applaud them for that. They're a young team. They still have a lot to learn, but they have done some things that are commendable. I remember every Monday morning, and that's just a saying, excuse me, every Monday morning we were hearing about some conman, some fraudster, somebody coming here, some white eye person coming here, a white skin person with a blue eye coming here and con the NNP administration of millions and millions and millions of dollars. We have not heard that in the last 2.5 years. And we should go to bed happy, knowing that no conman, no convestor, no fraudster, no crook, and come and con this young government that they claim was inexperienced. We're talking about so many projects where millions and millions of dollars were con, thief, they rob it from the NNP administration. There are some things that we can commend the NDC about, their due diligence, their background check, running programs and doing it well. I'm saying they're not perfect. We can blame them for certain things. We can say certain things and criticize them. But there are a lot of things that we can commend them for. And I can tell you, Look at the new breeding program, man, the livestock program. Michael Batiste always speak about agriculture. You could say what you want about the NDC. When NDC came into power, they had to go, the butchers had to go to St. Vincent and get the cow, the goat, the sheep, or the goats, the sheep, and so on. They had to travel there. Right now, they have a very good breeding program. At least they start something, getting hybrids, and then they'll crossbreed them. It's not perfect. Nothing would be perfect in this place, right? I remember when NDC came into power, you had the abattoir in those places where, in St. George's and certain places, where you go and get meat and you wonder how they could be slaughtering and cutting meat and so on in those places. The NDC modernized this thing in Maribor. They invested in that, or they continue some of the programs of the previous administration, but at least they're getting there. Slaughter in great places. Only recently, we saw, is it CDB? One of those international agencies coming to assess the Maribor abattoir situation. I'm saying,
Michael, I'm going to come to you in a second. Go ahead, Kim. Finish up.
I'm only saying that, yes, you can blame them on certain things. Nothing is wrong with that. But give them some kudos and some thumbs up for the things that they're doing well now and good now.
Right. All right. Michael, you were saying, sorry again, because of the feedback. That's why you
talk about the abattoir. The abattoir, when the NDC came into power in 2008, they may have implemented the project. That was a project in the pipeline. The FAO gave that monies for the abattoir in Maribor. Myself and Michael Church went to a FAO meeting, and because the FAO General Secretary was up for re-election, we were able to squeeze that money out of him for the partial construction of the Grenville market and removing and the replacement of the abattoir to Maribor. So these were NNP projects that NDC came in and they may have implemented a project. NDC have never implemented anything in St. Andrews of their own. Never. And the record is quite clear, Kim. Whether it was Tillman Thomas administration or whether it was George Brizan, you cannot find one single project in St. Andrews that the NDC initiated. Not the bus terminal, not the Grenville market, not the new fish market in Grenville, not the abattoir. All of these programs were initiated by the new National Party. When they left office in 2008, NDC continued with them.
Right. Perry, I know we had you on hold for quite a bit.
Yeah.
Any addition to
No. Well, I want my buddy Kem to understand something. Again, it goes back to what I said before. You cannot look at your ex and say, "Oh, well, my ex did this to me. My ex abused me. So if I'm being abused right now, or if I'm not getting benefits that my ex didn't give to me right now, then, oh, it's okay." You've got to look at what is happening right now. Nobody voted for the NDC expecting to be treated like the NNP. And the thing about it, nobody does that. Nobody leaves a relationship to go to another relationship expecting worse. They're expecting better. And again, nobody's saying that the NDC should not continue the projects that the NNP initiated. Of course they should. It's a wise thing to do. But then you cannot take credit and every second have a photo up when you throw some concrete on the ground, or you build a little trench, or you build a little ditch. You can't do that. You're not going to get kudos for that. I mean, I could go to any NNP minister and I could look on their Facebook page and see exactly the same thing done. You don't get kudos for maintenance. You get kudos for new infrastructure projects that is going to impact your community drastically. Then you get credit for it. And of course, I understand the police station on the Carnage is dear to me. I'm a Green Street Carnage guy. You see what I'm saying? And I think that how the Carnage has been treated is horrible. But so that I give them kudos for. I give them kudos for that. But at the same time, we have to understand maintenance and rehabilitation of a structure. I mean, come on. We can't have such low expectations. You want to see something all brand new from foundation to roof. Then you can talk about it. For rehab, I mean, come on, guys do rehab in 6 months. And again, back to, I went to Happy Hill Secondary School. And in Happy Hill Secondary School, I did agriculture. As a matter of fact, I won an award from the Ministry of Agriculture for a patch of cauliflower. Okay? In Happy Hill Secondary School, we were taught woodworking, we were taught drafting, and we were taught agriculture. So I don't know where we're getting this thing about, oh, the schools are not educating the kids right. I would hate to believe that these programs are not still in Happy Hill Secondary School. As a matter of fact, my interest in engineering was initiated by drafting from Mr. Ed in Happy Hill Secondary. So unless things have drastically changed in Grenada, I would hate to believe that there's not an emphasis on technical stuff. Again, and I go back to saying, Grenadians are very smart people. They learn things pretty quickly. Most of these guys are very handy. If they could leave Grenada, come to New York, and help build Manhattan, and do all the sheetrock, and you want to tell me that if you have a shortage of sheetrock guys or masons or whatever, you want to tell me that you cannot mobilize the Grenadian youth and in 3 to 6 months churn out 500 masons? You want to tell me that would be a show of excellence? As a matter of fact, I give you a little story. I came home over the holidays. And I built some work, masonry work around my house. Over the summer last year during Carnival, I came home and I built a driveway.
Right. But
I employed people in the neighborhood to do it.
I want us to look at the expectation, right? Because we're looking at, I know Kem, you guys looking at it from two different perspectives. Kem is looking at it from Kem and Django is looking at it from a 2.5 year perspective. From 2.5 years, is it unrealistic to believe that more could have been done or more could be done? Are they on par to fall short of what the progress that was made by NNP? It's 2.5 years. It's not 20 years. So
I agree. Mm-hmm. I agree. There's no comparison. You cannot. And I think it's self-defeating for NDCI to compare 20-something years to 2.5 years. There's no comparison. Absolutely none. Based on what I'm gathering is that...
Michael, give me a second. I see your mouth moving. I'll bring you in a second.
The youthfulness and youth is like the engine in a car. It's full of power, full of energy. But if that car is not driven by experience and wisdom and good judgment, there is a problem. There is a problem. And I must say, we all talk about it. It's understood that it's young political family. It's a young political family. But you have to learn on the job, and you have to learn very quickly. If you're youthful politically, this gives you an opportunity to show Grenadians and the world your ability. You should seize the moment. And if you do well, then you'll get kudos for it. But you can't have young and youthful people, in some respects, resenting the people with experience and good judgment. No, we have seen what youthfulness has done, political youthfulness. The reason why people like myself and others are so passionate is because we have personally experienced what has happened in Grenada. We have personally experienced when youthfulness in population take charge, and in politics take charge, and we have seen the effects on the population. We have seen when divisiveness in politics take charge, we've seen the consequences are deadly. That is why you may see me, I know I'll explain to you why sometimes I'm such an equal opportunity straight shooter, because we are paranoid because we have seen what has happened. And especially as podcasters, we have a responsibility.
Right.
Very, very important responsibility. I think we underestimate the power that we have.
Right.
How we're able to influence people. So you can use your platform to influence people positively and says, okay, well, we need masons. We need carpenters. Let's mobilize. Let's get it done. How about that? Mm-hmm. You guys have an opportunity to do that. Ian has a platform, you have an opportunity to do that. Kem has a beautiful platform. He has an opportunity to do that. Why don't you try to mobilize the young men and young women.
All right.
How about
Okay, Michael has something to say. Then I'll come to Kim and Django. I know you got some stuff to input as well. Michael, go ahead.
I want to respond to something that Kim said about livestock, hybrid livestock. I was hoping you wouldn't mention that on air, Kim. The World Bank gave the people of Grenada $27 million to develop the livestock industry in Grenada. The NDC spent $4 million out of it for 463 hybrid animal at a cost of $10,000 for a piglet. $10,000 for a piglet. They bought 8,000 dead chicks and give to the farmers. That is from World Bank money. So that in itself is a disaster. I don't care whether you're young or you're old. How in heaven's name you can take granted money or taxpayers' money and pay $10,000 for one pig? How would that improve our food security? Now you mentioned, and you've been doing an unfair comparison. You talk about NNP 23 years in office against NDC 2.5 years. That is an unfair comparison. Elections are, when you win elections, you win for up to 5 years and possibly 3 months. And it is that space of time you can compare NDC performance in two and a half years and NNP performance in 2.5 years. I was part of a NNP government in 2.5 years. For 2.5 years. And in the third year, the government collapsed. Raphael Fletcher resigned. The Prime Minister then asked the GG to dissolve Parliament and call fresh elections. He went back to the polls. The people of Grenada were so happy with what they saw, the progress that was taking place. At the time, you could not find an able-bodied young man nowhere around. You had the Taiwanese project, you had special projects, you have development taking place in Grenada, housing projects here, housing projects there. The people saw something was happening, and you know what they did? They gave the NNP their first 15 seats in 1999 because they saw the country was heading in the right direction. If that were to happen today, do you think NDC would meet the same fate as NNP to get all the seats? No, not at all. So you cannot compare. You cannot compare the 23 years. The 23 years was an accumulation of years that they got for a job well done. They got the first 5 years. The people look at the 5 years and they said, okay, good going. I'll give you an extension. What you have to understand, NDC have never been able to get that extension because in the first 2.5 years, they have left the ground. They're operating in the air. The last time I saw Kim in St. Andrews at night time, I couldn't tell you the last time I see an NDC representative on the ground. They have abandoned the constituencies. That's the difference. Because they have nothing to offer the people and they have no explanation for the lack of economic activities that is taking place on the ground. So they in hiding. You could come in St. Andrews and you and I could sit and knock a glass and we don't even have to discuss politics when we meet. Tell the MPs, do the same. You have an MP in St. Andrews Southwest and a function right in his nose in Sobeys. He don't even have to drive. He could just park and walk because right in his nose, his neighbors, yet he's a wall. You can't find him. Tell me.
All right, Kim, jump in here.
Yeah, well, I'm accustomed to Michael Batiste, my good friend, rhetoric, and then he's good at, stunts. He's not short of that. Pure lies, 8,000 chicks dead, distributed, piglet, $10,000, all lies and talking points of the NNP in my belief. But I'm not moved by that. Only today, the Honorable Lennox Andrews, he was in Sobeys with our beloved Prime Minister and other ministers, the Honorable Kirin James, to officially open the Subies Fishers, is it a complex or a facility? All right, so I'm living in a real world. I'm I'm living in a real world. I'm not moved by Michael Batiste slew of stories, and I want to call it concoctions. It's just full of makeup things. I don't know what to call it here, but anyways, NDC is on the right track. NDC came into office and they saw the need to roll out the CES program, where they assisted over 500 small businesses with grant aid up to $30,000 to assist them to bounce back. The NDC came into office. Yes, Beryl affected the rural parts, St. Patrick's and Mark, parts of St. Andrew, Carriacou and Petit Martinique. And the NDC gave, unlike the NNP after Hurricane Ivan, gave the farmers and the fishers cash payouts to assist them to get back on their feet again. That is significant. That is very, very significant, because when Ivan passed, that did not happen. They gave farmers plants, fertilizer, support in terms of irrigation, and we can go on and on and on, even fencing for those who are in the livestock arena. The NDC came into office and they inherited a Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique with 8,715 peat toilets. Families using peat toilets. And the NDC rolled out the WASH program, giving people decency back again, humanity back again, providing them with a modern bathroom and toilet facility. That's a caring government. It's a government who understands the need to invest in people and build people. But I want to make one point here before Junior rolling his ad. I want to say this. When you talk about project, you seem to be coming across as a concrete thinker. Concrete project, some building somewhere, some hotel somewhere, something. That is what I get from you when you talk about project, and NDC need to start their own project and start this. And what you're really talking about? Because the NDC is investing significantly in the human resource development of the country, and they're starting so many initiatives to help people. So when you say project, you're talking about a hotel, or you're talking about somewhat the Molyneux project you're talking about? Well, they completed that. What else? The Fort Frederick, the Fort George project? Well, they almost completed that project. What you're really referring to when you say project? Because, the NNP has this kind of concrete mindset. Build some hotel, and when you build a hotel, most of the workers there, the low-end workers are Grenadians, and those are high-end workers, they are foreigners, because they don't even train them understanding. And 5 years from now, we're going to have 2 or 3 hotels, and they would need this and they would need that kind of speciality. They don't train these people to occupy those facilities. But yes, they beat their chest like King Kong, giving people the impression, well, that project is that project. I'm not saying that it's bad, but it seems as though you have a kind of concrete mindset. But at the end of the day, is what it is.
Yeah, guys, you're watching Ridealong Live, and we're having this discussion, this debate here. We have Mr. Michael Batiste. We have, of course, my good friend Ian Django Thomas. We got Perry and Kim Jones. And we're going to give you guys an opportunity to chime in a short while. You could call in. In fact, you could call now. I'll put you on hold for that right time. But if you want to call, you could call right now, 718-701-5720. Before we go on and get a response from Mr. Perry, I want to tell you quickly that this program is brought to you with kind compliments of the NDC St. David branch election, and that's going down on the 27th of February. At 6 p.m. For more information, the flyer has the phone number there, 444-6632, 404-6632. You can get that information right there. Also, Ridealong Live is brought to you with the kind compliments of Ride, Tuk Tuk in Grenada, excursions and tours. All right, guys, we're going to take a commercial a little bit later. So let's jump on to Mr. Perry and his response to
Junior, just without cutting you.
Yeah.
So I am bringing the program concurrently on Vibes 101.3 FM, because it's after 8. Normally I start the program
right
at 8 to 9. Yeah? So I want to pick the listeners on Vibes 101.3 FM and 101.3 and 106.3 FM.
All right,
Thank you.
So we come to the folks on Vibe and folks in Carriacou, Grenada, and around the region. This is Ridealong Live, and thank you so much for joining us. Let's go to the phone line really quickly, guys. We got someone on the phone lines. Caller Live, where are you calling us from?
Calling from New York.
New York, go right ahead.
Yeah, Junior, I've been listening to the program, right? And I listened to Michael Bartis. And Michael
Okay, hold on a second. Let me put you in the system. Sorry, go ahead. Put you inside of the system. Caller, go right ahead again. Sorry.
Yeah, Michael Bartis is so much a hypocrite. This is the same Michael Bartis who run down Kit Mitchell. When you talk about the call center and all these things, and I want to ask Michael Bartis, right? Okay, since 40 years ago, right? Okay, we only have two major things that happen in Grenada. It was under Eric Gary and it was Bishop, right? We could talk about the airport, and let me say the airport cover tourism, agriculture, all these things. And the medical school, let me say, cover health and everything. And Michael Bartis will tell me one thing that NNP did in 23 years that made that great impression. And another thing, I want to say to the gentleman again. The gentleman, and the other gentleman, I think it's Perry, says his name or something.
Yeah, Mr. Perry.
Just joined the program a little bit.
Yes.
All right. I want to ask him, right, that if your father give him a house, right, and the house in a dilapidated state, right, wouldn't you first do the repair before you move into it? You know what I mean? And the reason I'm asking the question, because they're talking about the project what NBC is working on. Government is continuum. So before you could start something, you have to complete what was there first. You know what I mean? We have a budget coming up. Let us see the amount of things that this government have in the pipeline, what they're going to put us. That's the reason why you see the Prime Minister so big on education, sending people to learn skills. You understand? So when the projects and them come, we have people who could do it. We don't have to go and get people from Trinidad investing on them. This is what the government doing now. You understand? Right. And Michael Bartis is so much a hypocrite because I already talked about the chicks again. Remember, NNP pay a Jamaican $70-something thousand, and up to now we never see a chick with a chicken farm. Let Michael Bartis explain these things then.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's agriculture again. All right? Michael Bartis said that was the worst time during the NNP. We don't even have a port in Grenville for agriculture in case we have to export stuff. Junior, thank you.
Thank you so much, caller. All right. So, Michael Bartis, your name was called, so I give you an opportunity to respond right there. Go right ahead.
First of all, the caller seemed misrepresenting a lot of things. We do have a port in Grenville. I said the port was closed for a while, and it was closed, and I have no apologies to make for that. He said I criticized Kit Mitchell. Is there a politician in Grenada that I haven't criticized? There's no hostility between myself and Dr. Mitchell. Dr. Mitchell was in office. I was one of his brutal critics. When I saw things was going wrong, I shouted loud and clear that it was going wrong. Today, I can say that I have seen more wrongdoings in this government than I saw within the New National Party. That's not
Can you state some?
It's gonna take all night. We're gonna get to that.
Let's start the process.
In terms of you talk about what was done. A lot was done. You look at the development of the fish market, the abattoir, the bus terminal, the Grenville market, and we look at the development of agriculture. We develop our soursop industry. When I was then minister, when we recognized that we had problems with WTO and we were not able to get the preferential treatment in Europe, we embarked on a new product, soursop. We were able to bring in the US FDA into Grenada to check our soursop, and we were able to get approval for Grenadians to ship soursop to the United States. As a matter of fact, today, Grenada is the only country in the world that can ship fresh soursop to the United States. And soursop is a vibrant industry that was created through the New National Party. I was then minister. So when
Right.
you're talking about nothing was done, you have to go. You have to go back and look at the history and look at the thing that was done.
Michael,
Well,
let me ask you. I want to go back on Kim's question a bit, right? Because I remember first couple times that you was on the program, you were so much against Dr. Keith Mitchell.
yes,
Well, we know you were one of his harshest critics while you was there. You investigated the briefcase. Was it you? The call center? Was it the call center?
the
Or was
call
it
center.
the call
Yeah,
center? Right.
yeah.
Okay. But no, Cam just asked the question, and I'm interested to find out. You said that there
Well,
is more
the
wrongdoing
call
by this
center was wrong.
administration.
Do
Right.
you want me to say now that the call center was okay? No, it was not okay.
Well, no, I
It is
want you to
not
qualify
okay.
that.
It
I
was
want you
not
to qualify
okay.
that. I want you to qualify that statement that there is more wrongdoing that you see in this administration than the previous administration. So
Well,
give us a list of them, because we want to take note.
for one, I look at the GDP bank. I look at the GDP bank, and I look at the charter of the bank, and it says that the bank cannot give money to government officials. I see today ministers of government, cabinet ministers, using GDP Bank as their personal bank and getting huge loans from GDP, which in itself is conflict of interest. I see that because the cabinet appoint the manager and the board of directors. And how could you have an institution at the GDP? The GDP was set aside to help farmers and small business people. But look what it has done to today. I see some ministers involved in the CBI program. I did not, and I think that is wrong. When it was Dr. Mitchell, I complained that if it was Dr. Mitchell, I would say the same thing.
Absolutely.
Having a minister involved in the CBI or anybody in government involved with CBI, that is conflict of interest. And why we can't see it as that? If it was wrong under the NNP, it have to be wrong on the NDC as well, because they came in as a breath of fresh air. Is it okay for a prime minister to have an interest in a company that is selling grenade and passport? If it was Dr. Mitchell, what would we do? We would jump up and say, no, that can happen. So wrong is wrong, no matter who do it. But we have a tendency here that we believe it's only one set of people that can do wrong. And I'm saying to you as a Grenadian patriot, I'm saying, when the NNP did things that was wrong, I said it was wrong. Okay? And when the NDC is doing things that's wrong, I'm saying the same thing. I'm saying it is wrong. And that's
Right.
my position.
Cam?
Right.
And then we come to Django. Django, I know
Yes.
you had something to say, and also Perry. Go ahead, Cam.
Yeah, so firstly, a minister of government is a Grenadian. That's the first thing that must be clear. And the reason why most of those NNP politicians wallow in poverty after exiting government, well, except a few, is because there's this fear that because you're a politician, your life should end. You should stop doing business. You should stop investing. You should stop doing things and just remain poor. So most of these people, they remain dot poor, and they had to suck up to Keith Mitchell and the NNP over a period of time. But here it is. If a bank, an institution, gives a Grenadian a loan, minister or not, a loan means that that person has to pay it back. And this nonsense about chatter and chatter sakes and chatter, it's rubbish. You have institutions that evolve. Institutions evolve. They were built, structured in such a way, 13 years, 20 years, 14, 20, 40 years ago. You believe they're going to stay the same way for profitability purposes? It is utter rubbish. So if a minister of government or if a person has a prior relationship, because I know what Michael is talking about, all those things are NNP talking points. If a minister or a person who became a minister of government had prior relationship with a bank as a business person and applied for a loan and got a loan, so what? He has to pay it back. You vex about that? Go and get a loan there too. You take the opportunity as a Grenadian and go and get a loan there too. Then you talk about what? Minister of Government involving CBI. Let me tell you this, my brother. I'm saying, if you can tell me that a person is involved in wrongdoing, I would come and shake your big toe. Is that person involved in wrongdoing? The CBI program has been running since the NDC came in power flawlessly, smoothly. You ever hear in recent times of any conman who want to start some shrimp farm in Victoria and came and conned the NNP administration through the same CBI program of $54.2 million? Huh? And I can go with other programs under the CBI, under the NNP, Livera, and we can go on and on. Under the NDC, that did not happen. And it has not happened. So you could say what you want. At the end of the day, my brother, if you can show me wrongdoing, that something corrupt, something wrong about conflict of interest, Keith Mitchell's son was what in the Ministry of Finance? Huh? What was, I mean, Emlyn Pear, her husband was what in government, in FIU? Utter nonsense. These things are NNP talking points. And I am saying, these people are Grenadians. And if you saying to me that I cannot invest honestly and sincerely as a Grenadian, you could be minister or not, because you want them ministers to remain poor and end up like some of those NNP ex-ministers. I want to assume that you're rich. Michael, maybe you can tell us otherwise. But at the end of the day, they're Grenadians. They're not doing anything wrong. They're not committing any wrongdoing.
Right. All right, let's get Michael response on that. I see Django. I haven't brought you on in a while. Also, Perry, stand by. Your response there, Michael Batiste.
Well, of course, I brutally disagree with Kim on this idea that you're a Grenadian. There are some things that government ministers just must not be involved with if you're in a government. There's something called conflict of interest. And I think just the smell of it tells you that it is wrong. A government minister should not be involved in selling Grenadian passports. A government minister should not have an interest in a company that's selling Grenadian passport. I think that is wrong. Now, coming back to the GDB, if you feel that as a Grenadian, anybody should be able to access loans from the GDB is a company that operated by government. If you think it is okay for the members of cabinet who approve the manager, approve the board of directors to go to these banks and get loans, and you think it's okay, then fine. Then I think that is something that we need to ventilate to the public. If you also feel that the charter of the bank said that couldn't happen, and you want to make it happen, you should do the honorable thing and go back to Parliament and change the charter of the GDB and say GDB is free to give loans to everyone. But as it was written and it started under the GLP, government ministers was exempted from getting loans from these banks for fear of conflict of interest.
Right. All right. So, Django, what says you? I have a caller on the line there. I really have to go to in a little bit, but make your point, and then we'll jump to the caller, and then come back to Perry.
I believe banks operate to make profits. If the bank sees it fitting to approve an application made by a Grenadian, man, woman, child, or whosoever it is, and that person has the ability to repay and let the bank enjoy the profits, I see nothing wrong with that. Nothing is wrong with that, because it is a business at the end of the day. Because what could happen, and what has been happening over the years, the GDB, even if the politician don't take a loan, what could have happened and what happened, the politician endorsed or recommended or was a referee for an individual that refused to pay the loan. And that is worse than the politician taking a loan and paying it back, pay back every cent with interest. You see? So we have to be honest, and we have to understand the evolution of business. If the business see that this gentleman or this people or this group of people has the ability to repay, and they have satisfied all the criteria for the application, by all means, and added to that, the last person that would want their name to be in the newspaper for not paying a loan would be a politician. So that in itself is a level of security, if you want to call it that. That the money, once it's going to be paid back, give the people the loans, because everybody have lives. Your life may not be 100% politics. You may have businesses that you started prior to politics. Should you abandon that and fire your employees and you rely on your salary as a politician? You could rely on you could survive on the salary, but in the process you have sent home 15 different people, affecting the lives of 15 different families. So we have to strike a balance and understand and just be honest with ourselves that if the money is going to be paid back, it's the people's money, it's repaid, by all means.
Right. Okay. Perry?
Yeah, well, I mean, we all can agree. One thing is clear, and that is across the board, that's a talk on the ground, is that there is a perception. And in politics, perception is important. There is a perception that people feel that some in the government may be using the machinations of government to enrich themselves. And I think we all can agree that that perception is prevalent. And we go back again and we keep harping about the NNP and the NNP. The NNP is currently not in power. So we can't say the NNP did this to justify what is being done now. You, as Michael Baptiste rightfully said, you should be the breath of fresh air. You can't accuse the NNP of nepotism and then you come in now and then people are accusing you of nepotism. And I understand politics, you're going to take care of people who supported you. You're going to, throw them a bone, as we say, you know what I'm saying? Hit them off a little poke barrel. That's understandable. But the problem happens when people feel, again, perception, that you are using the machinations of government to enrich yourself and you're living lofty, and the people on the ground feel like they're neglected. That doesn't work well for a re-election. So that's the problem. And, we've grown around people. I'm not worrying about men so much. I'm worrying about women with their children. A lot of these people are just looking for maintenance, just to take care of their children, just to put food on the table, a roof above their head. And when you start affecting them, I've got a problem with it.
Right.
Again.
All right. Watch. Let me just add to what Perry just said there. Perry, when you talk about the women, let me tell you something that we have to pay particular attention to. You see the minimum wage order that was passed late last year? Quite a large percentage of that fell directly into the laps of the women. The security guards in particular, if you walk around the country, you would see many women as security officers. In previous years, not too long ago, these people used to get $4 an hour, brother. $4 an hour. The NDC brought it up to $8 an hour. The NDC came back and brought it up to $9.50 an hour.
$9.25.
Not $9.25 thereabout. So I'm just showing you, as Ken pointed out, all your development does not necessarily have to be concrete. You see, when you double the salaries of individuals, you give them a greater opportunity to have a better quality of life. And that too is empowerment and development.
I agree.
So, yes, so we have to be honest with ourselves. We have to understand the facts, the dynamics that is taking place, and how, because I am critical of my government also. Like I said, I give them a passing grade above 70. I give them above 75%. I give them an SGU passing grade. But we have to be honest, they did quite a lot, way more than was done. And I believe most people did not expect the National Democratic Congress to perform at that level in such a short period of time. But they did exceptionally well. We must give them the commendation and give them the kudos and the encouragement to do well, because if the government do well, the country do well, we do well, I do well, you do well. When you come for a holiday or a vacation, you would enjoy yourself a little bit more. If you come here and the place is suppressed and people depressed and confusion and chaos and poverty all over the place, it would take a toll on you, because man would look to rob you. And I'm certain when you were here last carnival, nobody attacked you. Nobody tried to make you feel uncomfortable. We're not that type of place.
For more reasons than one, I think, for more reasons than one. I don't believe they will.
But that's the point. So we're going in the right direction. We may be moving slow, but the direction we're going is the right direction. As Kim pointed, we have not had a fraudster here in many years.
Yeah,
that
but
is
what do you
money.
say? You know, you might be involved in business. So what do you say to?
I think you're getting a call there, Perry.
Let me get rid
Yeah.
Yeah. So
of that call. Sorry.
yeah,
Okay.
Whose phone?
What do you
Perry?
say, for example? Yeah,
Let me check.
are you with me again?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah, we
here.
hear you.
No, I'm here. I'm here. Okay, good. So,
Yeah, go
Yeah, we
ahead.
hear you now. We hear
what
you
do
now.
you say? You hear me now, right? What do you say to people who say, "Oh, there's allegations"? Again, and this, I'm sort of taking this personal because, again, this is related to St. Andrews, and it's possibly, if I'm correct, it's possibly related to a park that I used to go and fight every day and have a good time. You see what I'm saying? And what about the allegations connected to the NLA? What about that?
What allegations? What are the allegations?
Well,
I've not heard the allegations.
allegedly, I said allegations,
Yeah.
allegedly. I'm not going to
Yes.
get into it because I'm not really here for that. But
No, but I might be
I
able
know
to defend
everybody know
it. I might
what
be
is
able to defend it.
circulating.
If there's an allegation, I might be able to defend it. So what's the situation there?
We know what is circulating, but I'm not going to get,
but what's the source? The source of the circulation is pure politics. The NNP, they're on the platform spreading all these things. These are propaganda. These are allegations.
Well,
They're
I'll
not
say this to you. I'll say this to you, Kevin.
evidence.
And I'll say this to you. In every rumor, there is a bit of truth.
Well, I remember
Okay.
just a bit of clarification here, right? When that whole talk about the lotto thing came about, my name was somehow thrown into that whole conspiracy where they said that they're spending X amount of money on Ridealong platform to advertise. And I'm like, duh. I mean, the lotto authorities and Vincent and all over the place advertising Ridealong. Ridealong is a
Same thing,
popular
right?
platform. So what? What's the conspiracy there? So I don't know why my name got caught up in all of this. So I don't really understand the full
Well, we're not
conspiracy.
talking about that, Junior. We're not talking about that. I think you guys are more aware of what we're possibly talking about. But I'm not, as I said, I am not going to get into that. But again, you have to agree that there are several allegations that is not a good look for the government. Again, perception is everything. They're traveling. They're always traveling. And if you travel and then you come back and you say to the Grenadian people, look, I have traveled, I came back, and this is what I brought back for you. We used to do, it's like, when we were little kids, our parents would go out at night, go to a party, and, at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning when they came back, we look forward, they'd bring you back a little chicken snack or something like that. I'm like, oh boy. It's the same thing with government. If you leave and you go overseas, you have to come back and report to you people and say, look, okay, I went to Afghanistan and I brought you back X, Y, and Z. This is what I got. You don't travel for the sake of traveling. I'll tell you a story that a very dear, I would say, an auntie of mine who was intimately involved with the PRG. She said to me that when Morris and those guys were traveling, Morris was so careful with the spending of money that he put about 10 of them in one room in a hotel just to save the government money. And I understand the younger cats nowadays days are so used to so much more.
The assessment, what was saying that they just travel just because they want to travel?
Well, that's what I'm assuming. Who's paying for
I'm
the
not
travels?
saying
Who's
that,
paying for
but
the
I'm
hotels?
saying if you travel, I am saying when you come back, you probably should tell the Grenadian people what you have acquired for them.
So they probably should have better PR when they travel.
Well, I mean, it's kind of strange, right? I'll tell you this, Junior. It's kind of strange, right? You do so much PR and so much photo op when you throw some concrete in the ground and you build a piece of road. But you're telling me, I would think that if you're traveling so far away, that you're probably going to make millions for the Grenadian people.
Right.
That's not government.
Okay, let's keep jumping in.
Building relationships.
And then we have to go to a caller. That caller been waiting for a long time.
I think, Perry, with all due respect, you might be suffering from kitism.
I doubt it.
Yeah,
I doubt it.
NMPism, because
I doubt it.
This mindset, right? Because look, our beloved Prime Minister not going to St. Maurice in Switzerland and collect anything there. He's doing government's business, traveling on government's business. But here it is. I am saying this to say to you, but wait. You saying to me that when they travel, they're traveling to go get something and come and bring back?
Absolutely.
Building relationships.
Hold on.
Absolutely.
Okay, so they recently traveled to China.
To me, traveling like an investment.
Hold on.
Okay, go ahead.
Hold on, no problem. We have a long time.
Yes.
And we live all about the place. So here it is. So they recently traveled to China.
Okay.
And they came back, and the Chinese, they announced $40 million in grant aid. You are happy, you know so?
Absolutely. I would
All
be.
right. Okay,
Surely.
that's great. That's great. But here it is. There are situations, my brother, where they travel and the benefits will be derived down the road. It's not that they're coming in with some money.
No, I agree with you. I totally agree with you.
So you see, these travels are
I got that clear. That is clear. Nobody's saying that the benefits would be immediately realized. But you got to communicate that to the Grenadian people. That okay, I went to Afghanistan. You know, we're not gonna get some Afghan warlords coming and work for us in the next week or month, but probably they might work for us a year or 5 years from us, helping us with security.
All right, point taken. But here it is. My thing is, most of those travels, they are paid by external agencies. I remember working with government, and when I travel, right, I'm not saying that some may not be paid by taxpayers or covered by taxpayers. When I travel to so many places around the world already. Many a times it's organizations and agencies paying for the entire thing. But what is the biggie about traveling?
I agree with that. But let me tell you something.
So often, let me tell you something. Yes, we be traveling so often.
But perception, Cam, you have to agree.
We don't print money.
Cam,
we have to go out there. In other words, there's this old talk which says, if you ain't come out from that hole, or if you ain't walk, you ain't getting fat. So we have to go out there and meet people and engage.
No, I agree. Nobody's disputing
relationships and down the road get the benefits out of it. But I want to make a point.
Totally agree.
Yeah, and I want to make a point. Back on the bank, because I don't want to forget that thought. Do you know that Cap Bank, and Michael Batiste knows very well about it. Cap Bank was set up under the NNP administration. Offshore banking was all about the place, right? And the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank told the Keith Mitchell-led administration, do not give DBOG any license to operate a bank in Grenada. And the NNP administration gave DBOG license to operate a bank. And so much poor people in this country lost thousands and thousands of dollars. You know, when the NNP administration messed up and the bank collapsed, the NNP administration took taxpayers' money, and paid those who had $500 and less in that bank. And those who had more, they are yet to be paid. I am saying it's a big joke to reference GDP and Grenadians getting a loan that they can repay because they meet the criteria, they meet what is required to get that loan. Let us talk about Cap Bank, where a lot of ordinary Grenadians lost thousands and thousands of their savings and their pension fund and all different things. And who took the fall? One man, poor DBOG. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about where poor people, ordinary people lost thousands of dollars under the NNP administration with a bad management, with ignorance. They were warned. Look at the hospital. The WHO, the World Health Organization, PAHO, told the NNP administration, do not build this hospital in the sea there. There will be corrosion. There'll be rusting taking place with your equipment and your facilities. You talk about no medication in a hospital. That's just joke. Let's talk. Let's talk about the real stuff, the real deal. Do you know that the hospital that they broke down, the old wooden thing, they knew they were going to build a new one. They gave those NNP boys and them the ply to refurbish the old wooden thing, costing Grenadians millions of dollars. And you should know that, Michael. And then they built a new facility. The nursing school, the TAMCC nursing school that was producing world-class nurses was closed down by the NNP administration. I was a part of that training, the training aspect. When I was working in NADMA, I used to go there and do this 6 weeks or 3 months course, EMT and first aid and so on and so forth, disaster preparedness and so on. With those nurses at the TMR Community College, a school for nursing, and they're doing a fantastic job producing world-class nurses. The NNP closing down, and now we have problems. with getting the nurses and getting nurses because why? Some of them cannot afford. The ordinary rural girl or boy cannot afford that you always talk about, cannot afford to go to SGU to go into the nursing program there. They were able to do it at the TAMCC School of Nursing. Let's talk about those things.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about going to the phone lines. How about that? We got a caller. Hold on. We go to Michael. Michael, I know you waiting to chime in here. Caller, you like where you calling us from? Caller on the phone line?
On mute.
Okay. All right. There's a lot of calls. Let's take the caller on the phone line. Caller on the phone line, where you calling us from? On the WhatsApp. Yeah, good evening. Go ahead, caller.
I want to ask Mr. Michael Battis a question. You said that the most corruption you see is going on is right now. So, and you only call out two, which makes no sense. Because I see a lot of corruption when around NNP, even the cell phone with them smart. That was corruption. And nothing comes from that. Even when Kit Mitchell even go in America and see the town hall meeting talking about the thief in chicken, that was corruption too. I don't hear talking about that. And then, you know what I don't like? Even if you're an NNP or you support NNP, NDC doing something good, give them the medal. NNP doing something bad, then you give them the big X. Don't be hypocrite and do like, oh, NDC is not doing, that's not right. And you're talking about, oh, everything is doing, that was for M. So if NMP love Grenadians so much, why they leave everything in the pipeline? Why they never do it? If they love Grenadians, they would have do it. So this team didn't supposed to come doing it right now.
Right.
You understand me? So now NDC could have been doing this, not NMP stuff. Thank you.
All right, thank you, caller. Thank you so much. Before we go back to the response, I got another caller on the phone line, direct phone line. Let's take this call, and then we take a response from Michael and Kim and Perry and Ian. Caller on the phone line, go right ahead. You live.
Junior, are you hearing me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you now, caller. Go right ahead. Make it kind of snappy.
The word of God says, give Caesar what is due unto Caesar.
Right.
And I can recall very clearly that the former Prime Minister of Grenada, Dr. Keith Mitchell, allows that when a politician spends 2 terms in office, they have the pension. We passed that, okay? How is it possible that it is good, it is correct, for politicians to work for 10 years and get a lifetime of pension, and the hard-working man who work with government give dedicated service and time to their country, 20, 30, 40 years, and leave without nothing? This is not correct. So I don't see it is right for Mr. Baptiste and Mr. Perry John to attack the payment of the pensioners. They have worked for it. They earned it. And I think they should give the pensioners some respect, and they should even apologize to them. There are people who work in the police force, who work in the prison, nurses. For example, when Ivan passed, every family roof went, and they were stuck at work for days and weeks. The family didn't even see them. Come on.
Right.
Where is Mr. Baptiste and Mr. John Morality? Guys, do better than that. And Perry, between me and you, I find you just go there to look for relevance, but you're empty.
All right. I
Your
caller.
thinking and your mind are empty.
Thank you so much.
That's my contribution.
Thank you so much for your contribution, caller. Michael, I know you have much to say. Right ahead, Michael.
Let me respond to that caller directly. I have championed the cause of the pension since I got involved in frontline politics after the fall of the PRG. It was not Kit Mitchell that denied them the pension. It was Maurice Bishop, in his wisdom, who suspended the Pension Act and Gratuity Act of 1958 and created his own pension scheme in order to move away from what the late great Sir Eric Gary had done. Under the GULP, workers got their pension and a little kakada to go with it. And not only that, lady, let me remind you, there's a group of people that I champion in the cause, still championing the cause, that never get a dime. Those people that Maurice Bishop denied their pension under the Providence Fund. When Maurice Bishop got into office, there were two pension schemes. There was the Pension Act of 1958 that was championed by Eric Gary. And in 1969, Eric Gary went back to Parliament and he championed the Providence Fund that covered the ordinary people, workers and road workers and all of that. Stop blaming Kit Mitchell for the pension debacle. It was not Kit Mitchell, it was Maurice Bishop. It was in 1983, early 1983, that Maurice Bishop, when he suspended the Constitution of Grenada and operated under the People's Law, he introduced NIS as the sole body for pension for workers. It is the court that said what Bishop did. The Bishop now that Deacon Mitchell admiring and glorifying as a savior, it was Maurice Bishop that left Grenada in that mess. It was the court that said we must go back to the Pension Act of 1958 as Uncle Gary had it. So don't blame Kit Mitchell for that.
No. That's not
what we can say.
Michael, that is not factual. The NNP administration hired big-time lawyers from Trinidad to join with the Attorney General to put up a defense in the court to say to the court that they ought not to pay the retired people their pension. So all this nonsense about revolution and the 1958 Act and so on, the NNP administration was in power. They refused to give the people their money, and they took the matter to the court, and the NNP did not just allow them to take the matter to the court like this. The NNP got two big lawyers.
I will forgive you. I will forgive you on that statement. Remember, in 1990, the NDC was in office as well. In 1985, when they all got together and formed the NNP, Tillman Thomas, Brizan, Francis Alexis, all of them was their part of that. And it was an accumulation of all of them that decided to go along with the People's Act of Maurice Bishop to ignore the pension of 1958 and deny workers their pension. That was not Kit Mitchell doing. It was all of them combined.
No, what we are saying, Michael,
you talking as this pension thing started under NNP.
Respectfully,
the pension denial started under Maurice Bishop.
Right.
It was Maurice Bishop who disqualified the Pension Act of 1958 and created what he called was the NIS. And he said that all workers now would get a pension from the NIS.
Okay.
They went along with it. And NDC administration of 1990 went along with it. Those of 2008 went along with it. Both a pension. You can't point to Mitchell alone.
No. I am saying the reason why I am saying that the NNP is to be blamed for this. They have been in power for 23 years and a half. They should have fixed this mess. It was the moral and right thing to do. But here it is. They did not give these people their money, their rightfully earned money. They decided when the unions took the government of Grenada to court, and the government of Grenada at the time was the NNP in power, they decided to hire two big-time lawyers from Trinidad to join in with the Attorney General to fight the unions, to say to the court, do not give these people what is rightfully theirs, their pension and their gratuity. So we have to face the fact the NNP could have choose not to fight this matter, not to put up a defense, because if it's the moral and the right thing to do, and to allow these people to get their pension and their gratuity without having to spend taxpayers' money, to fight taxpayers. I'm simply saying the reason why Ken Don Jones, is blaming the NNP. Yes, we know the pensioners and the unions, they were marching on the streets for years and months under NNP for the pension and gratuity. And yes, we know the NDC was in power too. We understand that. But the NNP put up a defense, and I was looking for it a while ago, to quote exactly what the lawyers said in the court, to say to the court, do not pay these people their pension, but instead let them collect the pittance from the NIS upon retirement. That's what the NNP's point was.
Right.
That's exactly what they put forward in the court.
All right, Michael is making another point. Let's hear his point.
And in 2008, why you want to blame one party? And then NDC was in power from 1990 to 95, and from 2008 up to when they were voted out in 2000. Did they pay the pension? Why is he blaming Kit Mitchell alone?
But this administration paid it though. This administration, that is why I'm saying to you, give them kudos, applaud them for paying the pension. That's the right thing to do.
Listen to me. Paying workers the pension was the honorable thing to do. They earned it. And if Maurice Bishop did not interfere with it, we wouldn't have that problem today.
Okay. All right, guys, let's do this right here, because we're starving for a little commercial break. I really need to do this.
But I gotta respond when you come back.
Yes, guys, this program is brought to you with kind compliments of Ride Excursions and Tours, and of course we got to thank Beacon Insurance Company, and also we're telling you about this. We'll be right back right after this commercial break.
Every time I pass, you're teasing me. Every time I pass. The Grenada National Folk Group, in collaboration with the Ministry of Tourism, Creative Economy and Culture, proudly presents Iconic Moves and Melodies. Yes, man! Iconic Moves and Melodies. A heartfelt tribute to the legendary Miss Shirley Robinson. Mark your calendar. Saturday, March 1st, 2025 at the Grenada Trade Center, starting at 5 p.m. Immerse yourself in an evening of vibrant folk songs, classical songs, Negro spirituals, patriotic songs, captivating poetry, and mesmerizing dance performances as we honor Miss Shirley Robinson, a true pioneer of Grenada's cultural heritage. You'll also get the chance to have a meet and greet with Miss Shirley Robinson. Tickets are just $50 for adults and $25 for children. Iconic Moves and Melodies, a celebration you don't want to miss. Join us Saturday, March 1st at the Grenada Trade Center. Let's honor the legacy, celebrate the culture, and make it a night to remember.
Yes, guys. Again, thank you for watching. Thank you for being a part of our program. There's a lot more, guys. We got to thank and big up all the media, live platform. We have Cam Jones, we have Vibe FM, and everyone that's chiming in. See, my phone lines are going crazy. We got to go to it right now, and then we get a response from our panelists. Caller on the WhatsApp, you're live right now. Where are you calling us from? Caller on the WhatsApp?
Yes, hello.
Yeah, call on the WhatsApp. Go right ahead.
Yes, I am calling to make a point.
Yes.
Mr. Ken Jones and the minister, the former minister from Kit Mitchell government, I can't remember.
Yeah, that's Mr. Michael Batiste.
Mr. Michael Batiste. With all due respect, all right, we shouldn't be going back and trying to blame government and Bishop caused this and Bishop caused that. What good for the goose, good for the gander? Why should any government, and I'm stating back to previous government, take a portion, if you don't want nothing to do with one government, why should you take a portion of that government constitution and add it to your constitution if the other constitution is not valid? I'm saying that they put aside certain things in the Maurice Bishop government that is not important to Grenadian, and you take some of it that are important to Grenadian. It should be a level platform. It shouldn't be implemented. And as Ken Jones is saying, it should be given priority to the people that work for it. When the NDC government didn't implement it then, or the NP government. I'm saying it should be a level playing field, and the government now did it, and we should not be condemning the government doing it, because I listen to different platforms, and the NNP is still fighting against this and saying what they're doing is going to be a hazard to the Grenadian people, especially those that work in government.
Right.
So I'm saying it should not be like that. If it's not good for one part of it, don't take for the other and put into it. That's all I'm saying.
Thank you so much, caller. We appreciate your input. Let's take another call, and then we get the response from our panelists. Caller on the direct phone line, go right ahead. You're live.
Good evening, Junior.
Hey, good evening. How are you?
Panelist.
Yes.
You hear me clearly?
Keep talking. So far, so good.
Yeah, I've been listening from the start. I listened from the start, and I heard the question you asked all the gentlemen in the start. And from the start, Kim say he agreed. And I heard to ask them different question about the term, the NDC, so far what they had done. And Batty and the Perry guys started on a negative note. I can't believe that 2.5 years, look at the government performance. Came enlightenment. The bio monthly, the pension, the free university, the free STU, sorry. There's a lot of things coming to. They even increase opposition salary, senators. They're getting 10,000. And you cannot tell me that Mattis Perry cannot pinpoint at least, even though you don't like government, pinpoint something at least they have done. Coming back to the pension, a support team came and endorsed what he said. This government has defended the pension in court. And if it wasn't for only an election period, they would have appealed. Teachers was in the hot sun. They, for the 4% pension tax. And the leader wasn't paying that money. And if it wasn't for the election, as I said, they would have appealed the judgment. I think that Batty and the Perry guy need to be fair and stop being biased. Thank you. That's what I want to say.
Okay, thank you so much, caller. Thank you so much. Django, we ain't come to you in a long time, but let's go to Perry.
I got to respond to the young lady. I think I think she's utterly confused about what I said. And she gets deep into morality and everything like that, as if she knows my morality. The thing about it, I didn't say that the pensioners didn't deserve, are not supposed to be getting paid. It's the manner in which it was done. That's my only issue. Of course, these hardworking people need to get paid. But you can't pay them, and then in the long term, Grenada suffers major consequences. So of course you pay them. But again, my issue was taking liquid cash of a government. I mean, nobody does that personally. So why would an institution of government want to do that? And as to relevance, honey boo boo, Labia men and Carnage men don't need relevance. We were born with relevance. Okay?
All right.
That's all I'm going to say on that.
Okay. All right. Cool. No problem. Let's see if you could get another call in real quickly, guys. Caller on the WhatsApp. Caller on the WhatsApp. Are you there? Caller on the WhatsApp. Caller on the WhatsApp. Turn your TV down all the way, please. I'm getting a feedback. Caller on the WhatsApp.
You hear me now?
Yes. Yeah. Turn your TV down. Have a phone conversation with me. Go right ahead, caller.
Right. Good night. Good night, everybody on the platform.
Yes.
Right. In the beginning of the program, he asked them the question about how they think the performance of present government has been for the almost half the way. And since the program, Michael Batiste and the other gentleman, I find the way off track. It's like, some people is like they have a progress. This government has done so much in such a short space of time. I'm from the South. And from the past administration, right, they had two representatives, Nicholas Steele and Alexandra Otway. And there is nothing in the South that you could go and pinpoint and say, look, they have done that. We have a minister now, a young minister who's here and he's working. The only thing in the South you can remember Nicholas Steele by is a restaurant he built. I mean, come on. You have to give the people credit. They have done so in such a short time. I mean, the minister in the South alone probably build more low-income houses than half of the MP ministers. We have to give the people credit, man. They're working, man. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, caller. Michael Batiste, you're smiling there.
Well, I'm a bit perplexed by what the last caller said, that Andy Williams have been built low-income housing. And I'm wondering where Andy Williams built this low-income housing. And maybe I should ask him, what is a low-income house? Because I've heard the minister responsible for housing flinging up her keys and waving it to single women, head of household, minimum wage earners, telling them to find $70,000 and come and pick up a key. And I heard came as one of the achievements all year on the NDC. He said, and Django, they say minimum wage increase. Of course it increased. And it should have increased a long time ago. But what about this special set aside for low-income earners? Can a minimum wage earner find $70,000? Or are they that fortunate to go to an institution, a financial institution, like some of the NDC ministers, and get a low-income loan to purchase one of these houses that he said Andy Williams built? How many poor women earning minimum wage can access this that the NDC say are low income? How many of them?
Right, I think
there's a distinction.
At least under the NNP, they had special arrangements based on your earning. They were able to find shelter. Today, what we see happening to these houses that this fella talking about Andy Williams are buying, people in the diaspora are buying the houses.
No, Michael,
there's a distinction.
Hold on. Jack, I'll bring you in. You know, I heard that said yesterday, right? I heard a minister said that yesterday. But is that really true, or is that just
Yes, it is true.
Do you have facts to back that up? Do we have facts to back that up?
Watch me. A 10-year loan, which is what the commercial banks are offering. A 10-year loan at $70,000, $70,000 would roughly be over $800 per month. A single woman earning $1,000 to $1,200 a month. You do the maths and tell me how we should be able to afford that house.
No, what I'm saying is, I heard that as a talking point yesterday.
You see, it is okay to come on TV and talk about, Andy Williams building low income. What is a low income house? How many a single woman head of household with children can find the $70,000 in a commercial bank to access that house that the Minister of Houses, Gloria Thomas, are talking about? Go and get $70,000 and come for the key. How many single women can afford that?
Right. Okay. Django, go ahead.
There is a distinction between minimum wage and low incomes. Let us not mix them up and put them in the same thing and believe that we represent in the same thing. Low income could be up to $2,000. Yes, minimum wage on the other hand is a totally different thing. Now there's a provision for minimum wage workers and there's a provision for low income. So let us not lump them together and create the perception that we're speaking about the same category here. The low income earners could afford to go to the banks or the credit unions and qualify for a loan to pay for the houses. Minimum wage is a different thing. We do not want to make the confusion and believe that minimum wage and low income is the same set of people we're talking about.
Right, but Junior, Junior and Michael and Ian, Michael said a while ago, because you see, Michael, he loves to speak and sometimes not even thinking about what he's saying. He's saying that these houses are $70,000. And he's saying a person can't get a loan, or if they get a loan, for a 10-year period, they will be required to pay $800 per month. Michael, if you calculate that by 10 years, you're looking at $96,000. So you're way off. You're talking about $26,000 far off from the target that you actually mentioned. So I'm saying it is untrue to say that they will be expected to pay that amount. In fact, the last time round, we had a conversation about that, and when we break down the thing, it's just about $400 and something.
Exactly. That's the
$300
cost.
to some people, 300 and something, or $400 and something per month. So it is untrue to say that they're required to pay $800. I mean, your math's not mathsing.
Yeah,
I said to you again, for our 10-year loan with interest, a $70,000 could run from around the $800. I don't have the direct figure on top of my head. It's approximately anywhere between $700 to $800 that they'll have to pay from a $1,500 or $1,000 salary. And you do the maths and tell me how practical is that?
Look, as we speak, somebody with one of the houses just sent me a message. They are paying their loan over a 15-year period, which is equivalent to $300. And that is a low-income individual. So you see, we have to be honest. The public will tell us. Yeah, the public is there and they will be able to verify. I am certain nobody would call or message anybody here and tell us that they're paying $800 for the house. I am certain. I could wait. I have time. It's early.
Right. Well, let's see. Let's
You
go
know,
to
but
Junior,
Junior,
Hold on.
Junior, I think we're missing a point, The point here is these people get in those houses, right? Remember, under the NNP, folks were placed at Dabo, is it Mount Rush?
Yeah.
In that housing scheme. And they were given a letter to pay. But it's just that some of them were not paying. They were required to pay a certain amount every month. But because the majority of them, they believe that is their party in power, and they decide, well, boy, if I ain't paid, they're not going to throw me out. The structure itself run down. Housing Authority had to find millions of dollars to come now, taxpayers' money or loans that they have to take, and repair the facility, fix back the facility. And remember, it was in the news for weeks. And the NNP come out and talk all kind of rubbish. But at the end of the day, I think people need to be responsible. They need to be responsible to know that these things are not free. And two, it has to be maintained. So again, under the NNP, they had to pay too. So what's the point in them having to pay $400 or $500? Here it is. The average rent, right? There are people, low income, middle income, they renting. A lot of people in this country, they're renting apartments. And few, very, very few people will be renting for under $500. Well, maybe in the rural parts, but very, very few. I'm saying just as they are renting, and if you can get a property and pay that same rent money, $500 for example, or $600 for example, every month, at the end of the day, you're going to own the property and you will be able to have equity.
Yeah.
Equity. You start off with equity anyway. You start the value of the house is way more than the price of the house. Yeah.
Okay.
Of course. So,
hold on. Guys, let's take a quick call. We got a call on the line pending for quite a bit. Let's take that call and we get the Michael response. Caller live, where are you calling us from? Call on the WhatsApp?
Oh, I'm running the TV.
Yes, caller.
Yes, Junior.
Yes,
Hello?
caller. Go on. Yeah, caller.
Yes,
Yeah, go right ahead.
Yes, so I have two questions for Michael. But
Make it kind of snappy because one of us we on air for 2 hours now.
Okay.
Yeah. Make it
All
kind
right.
of snappy.
So a while ago, he said government should not be going back. Okay, we're going to focus on the government power. But he went right back to 1979 on Maurice Bishop. Also, I want to ask him, why is it the NNP never maintained the stadium what taxpayers' money is paying for? That's the two questions I would like for him to answer for me, please. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, caller. Michael, mute you. Yeah, Michael, go ahead.
I'm not here representing. I believe, sir, that your question would be better placed when there is a forum and you can place that call to the NNP. I am here on my own behalf as Michael Betis, as a private citizen so far. Maybe that might change soon when Kem invite me to join his party. Maybe so, Kem? No? I didn't hear. I just seen the smile, Kem.
yeah,
I didn't hear it.
Maybe Peter David might invite you to join his party. Maybe. Bams, I saw you at the NNP what meeting they had up that side, and Keith Mitchell call you where you disappear for some strange reason. Next time, please go forward.
No. I didn't disappear, man. I went next door by Daigo to have a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Guys, I want to play back.
I'll tell you already. The next time when he call, I might just speak. You understand?
All right, listen, guys. I want to play back this, right? I want you guys' feedback on this. This is a recent, this is a recent clip from a town hall meeting. I think that was yesterday, right? I just want you guys' honest to God opinion on this after watching it. Let's watch it together.
John T opened his mouth and he died, you know. John T opened his mouth. All you remember that? And he died. I ain't say who killed him. I didn't say who killed him. Don't go and say I say anybody kill him. I simply say the man say some of us who talking against the government should be dead. And I know John T was killed for talking. So I don't know, and I don't know. Therefore, sisters and brothers, what I want you to do is to make sure to make me.
Let's go, Michael. Michael, are you comfortable that this young man, who was killed, right, about a year or so ago, are you comfortable that his name is being kicked around as a political football in party meeting like this when his family have to deal with that fact over and over and over again? Are you comfortable with that statement?
Well, I mean, I'm glad you asked me. There was a celebrity in the United States that put out a significant amount of money for information leading to the arrest and conviction of the killer. So obviously that case in itself have international following. Listening to what Dr. Mitchell said on the platform, I see much ado about nothing, really. I mean, politics is.
But what does John T have to do with politics? Hold on. What does John T have to do with?
Didn't call nobody's name and all of that.
Michael, are you hearing me?
Yeah.
No, he did call the young man name. He called the young man name. Now, the parents of this young man have to live with this over and over again. Are you comfortable with that? That's fine by you. That's okay.
Well,
that's cool.
Listen to me. Are they worried about what he said, or they worried about because John T. killed on bail?
No, I'm just asking you.
I'm asking you the question. Which one would offend you?
Answer my question first. Are you comfortable with that?
I have no problem with what he said.
Okay.
But would you be comfortable if John T. Killer was on bail and you don't know when is his next hearing?
No, I would be comfortable if this young man is allowed to rest in peace and his family at least get some peace and not share this every time.
The family cannot get some peace if the killer is out on bail.
No, hold on. He was not a politician. This young man was going through his stuff. We had an interview with him on Ridealong, and nobody used to talk about him, and nobody used to know when they used to stone this young man and all of these things. Now his name has been bantered around in political campaign as if he was a significant political figure, which he wasn't. So I just feel that that's disrespectful, and I'm not okay with that. Because if he was my son, and I have to keep hearing this over and over, I wouldn't be comfortable with that. Kem,
would you be comfortable if John T. Killer was on bail?
That's
he was in Canada?
That's a totally different question, but I understand.
No, it's not totally different, because it means that justice was not done.
Okay.
So I would be more I'd be more concerned about the whereabouts of his killer and the lack of interest that is placed on his case, making sure that killer is behind bars. I wouldn't be upset with what Dr. Mitchell said.
Okay.
I would be upset if no justice was done. If his killer was granted bail and is free to go to Canada, he's free to roam about as normal. I think that is what happened in the family, not what Dr. Mitchell said.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, well, my conclusion after listening to Keith Mitchell there, I would say that Keith Mitchell is a political lunatic. The guy is a political. Keith Claudius Mitchell is a political lunatic.
In your
the guy's
opinion,
an empty. The guy's an empty bag.
I would
Keith
distance
Mitchell is
myself
an
from
empty
that
bag.
statement. I think I think it's unfortunate you're making that statement. You were doing, we were doing okay all along. We were doing okay all along until now.
Let me disclaimer this. Hold on. Let me disclaimer this, Kim. I don't think you're a medical professional to diagnose the man in being a lunatic. I don't know what's the diagnosis that have to be put into diagnosis.
Right, but based on what Keith Mitchell just said, I conclude that Keith Mitchell is a political lunatic and that he's an empty bag. He's a bag with air in it, right? But here it is. This style of politics is of old. Look at this guy who been there for all these years, acting like a political clown, like a clown in some show. And then his supporters, most of them who are not lettered, they they're jolly, they happy about this thing. These meetings are meetings for people who don't want good for this place. We have not heard any plan, any program, any initiative by the NNP so far. They go in these meetings and it's a clown show. What are the plans for health? Plans for education? Plans for youth? Plans for agriculture? What are your plans and programs and initiatives? What? Nothing. Emptiness. Rubbish. And Keith Mitchell, the old showman, the theater performer, the guy is a political lunatic in my belief. That's my conclusion.
Right. Django?
It's a sad day, man, to see a former statesman, a gentleman that should be having conversations of empowerment and upliftment, have to wallow in the political gutter, absent of anything of substance, insinuating that somebody probably had something to do with the death of the young man. But the truth is, if he has so much confidence that the individual that presented himself as a killer, if he has so much proof that is not that person, call the police. Grenada small, he should know the police number. I'm certain him and the present leader of the New National Party, husband, they have numbers. Call him, tell him what I believe I have some information that might be might help in solving the case. I don't believe the person that presented himself is a killer. I know who the killer is, so let we talk. But his intention is not for that. He's trying to throw shade because he's that kind of guy. If you look at the level of his conversation, nothing making sense now for him. It's like, I can't say he's a lunatic, but like some marbles upstairs. Look at the behavior. Remove the audio and just look at this guy. And that should be a statesman. That should be the elder. That should be our political grandfather here. Look at his demeanor. Nothing about him says and comes across with class. He's just like a gutter rat kind of behavior, a kind of TB man, bacchanal man, a kind of confusion kind of guy. And the truth is, I think Grenada is a lot better off without him anywhere in politics and power. He has served his time. I think he did what he could have done. I'm not impressed really by his contributions in any major way, but he did what he could have done. And look. There's a kind of Tom and Jerry Cartoon Network kind of individual. I don't know how we allowed him to be the leader of our country for such a long period of time, though. It's kind of sickening, man. It's a waste of time, though, man.
Right. Michael, you were saying something.
Well, I want to distance myself from the statements that Kim made. Totally. I think it is inappropriate. And Django as well, to say why you allowed him. Django, you did not allow him, my brother. The people of Grenada gave him strong mandates. 3 times they gave him 15-0 over the party of support. So let's respect the wishes of the people. And as far as
one of the deficiencies of our system, eh?
As far as what he's saying, I don't feel no way about it. I feel saddened for the families of John T, knowing that the killer is outside, enjoying his civil liberties, and justice has not been done for him. I feel more. I have a sense of deep compassion for the families. not
But
for
isn't that
what.
a referendum on the court? Isn't that a referendum on the court system? Because he applied for bail and he was granted bail.
I'll take the fifth on that one.
Okay, all right, okay, no problem. Let's
But,
take a call. Let's take a call real quick, guys.
You know why? I have
Yeah.
seen people were caught with guns and they don't get bail. They didn't kill
Right.
nobody, you know. A friend of mine spent 10 days on remand because the police found a gun. Someone from the diaspora. Someone reported that he had a gun in the house, and he spent 10 days on remand. He didn't kill no one. But here you're telling me now it's about the court with Janty killer getting bail?
So are you implying that there was some foul play in getting him bail?
I told you before, I'm taking the fifth.
Okay. Let's take a call. Hold on. Caller, where are you calling us from?
Yeah, calling in from Southwest. Good night to Tim. Good night to Ian. And good night to Mr. Michael Baptiste and yourself, Junior.
Yes.
To be honest with you, in my estimation of this whole thing, as Ken rightly said, he put it in good perspective that this type of politics is over with. It's over with. Because if you look for years, this gentleman played this kind of dirty politics game with Grenadians. But if you go on social media right now, after he made these statements and the kind of people with class answering back, he didn't call him name, but we all know who he is, who they are talking to. We don't have time for this kind of politics. Look at the richest man in Africa came down to Grenada and telling the Grenadian public that we have a prime minister that is a good man that will lead you right. We have our prime minister going all over the world and representing Grenada in the highest form. And you will tell me that Grenadians will be good with this kind of dirty politics? No, we don't have time for that. And to be honest with you, Grenada, as Kem rightly said, and as Django rightly said, is better off without Keith Mitchell in the picture. It's better off, right? No, it's not that I'm biased or whatever, but we as young people, I in my first time, let me make that short. In my first time I ever voted in my life, I voted for NNP. And it was not the fact that I understand politics. I didn't understand politics. It was about the lime and the patty and the jump up. But when I get to a stage where I understand politics and where I understand what it means to be a part of a political organization and to be an agent of change, how I could, in my good mind, support this guy. I'm telling you, brothers, Grenada is better off, far better off without Keith Mitchell in the picture, and I will continue saying it, and I want Ken to always blow his trumpet, continue saying that. It's far better off without Keith Mitchell. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, caller. And one thing let me bring back Perry in here. Perry.
I definitely want to chime in on this. Well, let me ask you this, Junior. Where does this, we're talking about the second part. Of course, I think most can agree with that it was a little bit inappropriate. But the first part of what he said, where does that emanate from? About the allegations of calling for the death of opposition. Where does that emanate from?
That was
that, my friend, I think that is alarming and quite dangerous.
No, I will jump in on that.
Okay,
yeah, tell me exactly. Where does that emanate from?
A statement was made that in other parts of the world, when people committed offenses that Mitchell and them committed, they would have died. Nobody threatened to kill anybody. So he's just amalgamating.
So wait. So stop. Well, let me ask you this because this is kind of getting a little more interesting. So you're saying, is this someone politically connected that said something like that?
No, that was just a statement I was banning around. And the truth is,
but I mean, where did the statement emanate from? Where did it emanate from?
It was an interview on
African countries
TVN.
and Japan and these countries. When you abuse your power like that, and you cost your people millions of dollars, the Japanese would lie on the sword. Without anybody.
Well, no, what I'm asking, but who said that? Where did that come from?
Well, it matters not who said it or who didn't say it, but the point is the statement was made.
No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
No.
It doesn't matter.
The I don't know. Well, I don't know who said it. I heard the statement.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So you're not aware of who said it, but that does matter.
But
that really matters.
The idea in the Eastern world, when you commit offense,
no, I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. You know, I mean,
you have to take your life.
Cam, you want to jump in here quick?
No, I understand what you're saying.
No,
but that is dangerous.
I'm happy that Perry is back and you know, to be a part of this robust intellectual conversation. I mean, for me, look, we're in 2025. I have 2 daughters, and they use their tablet, you know, computers and so on, and they can use their smartphone and they have their smart watches. And in other words, we are smart. We are not analog. When Keith Mitchell go on stage and speak that kind of language, he reminds me of the black and white TV. We're in a smart age and technology. People are following current affairs. They're abreast of things. People want to know what are the plans and programs to better their lives, their living standard, their condition. You know, how would they move forward?
Well, I'm sure that was addressed in the meeting. I mean, this is an isolated clip. So I'm sure many of those things might have been addressed in the meeting.
They don't talk.
This is a couple seconds clip, right?
They don't talk initiatives. They don't talk.
You're saying to me that during that whole meeting, probably what, a couple hours meeting, that they didn't say anything about their plans for Grenada.
They spend more of their time attacking and saying all kind of loose things like that because they're still living in the past. They still exist in Keith's world with all this bant and all this rant and rave.
But I'm still, you might be able to shed some light on this. I'm still trying to understand where did the first part of the statement emanate from? Because obviously, we all can agree that the second part is inappropriate.
Well, right,
there's no disagreement to that. But I'm trying to understand you have to understand why I would be paranoid. Again, I think I explained it a little earlier, that people like myself and people a little older who are intimately involved in a certain process, close to 40 years ago, saw and experienced certain things, and would be very concerned.
Long live Maurice Bishop. Long live forward ever, backward never.
You know, it's so funny how you guys call Maurice Bishop name like you guys sat down.
Long live the great Maurice Bishop. Forward ever.
But you know, you guys talk about Maurice Bishop like you sat down and have tea with him. I'll tell you something. He used to come. I'll tell you this. He used to come and actually sit in a house where I grew up.
You're fortunate. You're fortunate to sit with a great man.
But what I'm saying, that's besides the point. But I'm trying to say to you, let's not divert. I'm trying to say to you that it would be very alarming. People will be very concerned. People like myself and people older should be. That you'll have in the annals of political speech in Grenada calls for people being killed in opposition.
Victor,
people being treated. Let's get back to
the late union leader cannot go and tell us what happened. The late union leader, Victor Antwine, but people out here know what happened.
Hold on. Or people being.
I have the clip. I have the clip. I have the clip. Right.
Okay, you have the clip. Okay.
Let's put it a little bit in perspective, right?
I'd love that.
Okay. All right. This is the clip, and this is what was said.
Talk about some of those things. I think in many instances they're fortunate, given the kind of disrepute that they brought Grenada in over the several years, decades in many instances, that they even alive and live peacefully, that they even alive and.
Right. That was sensational.
No, I'm really disheartened.
That's not the full clip. Let me get the full clip.
No, I'm really disheartened. Because notice, I don't ever, even in my videos and stuff like that, I don't ever say anything about our current prime minister. And I think also it might be a little inappropriate, some of the things that was said about the previous prime minister. Because being a prime minister is a very difficult job. And that's the reason why you've never heard me say anything about our Prime Minister, Deacon Mitchell. Never, not once. Because I understand it's a very difficult job to please so many different people. And sometimes we have to understand that when you dishonor or you disrespect the Prime Minister, he's not the Prime Minister of Keith Mitchell. It's the Prime Minister of Grenada. So when you say things, and that's why, remember I was talking to, Cam and everybody, and remember I was saying that we have to be careful in politics how far we go and what we say. Because our words are very powerful. You guys have influence. And you may think you don't have as much influence as you do have, but you do. And in some respects, you can motivate people to do things that with a rational mind, they would not do it. And we seem to have not learned from our past experiences.
What I can tell you, Perry, I want to openly commend and applaud the most honorable Deacon Mitchell for making that statement there, because these people, they have been and they were in power for 23 years and a half, and they, in my belief, they have cost Grenada far more than they have actually brought in. In fact, I concluded that they are cursed to Grenada. These people were cursed to this nation, and I am happy that our beloved Prime Minister was honest, he was sincere, and he was straight to the point. These people are lucky. They're lucky to be Grenadian and lucky to be here for what they have done to this country over the many years. They have, look, you have to be here to experience what these people have done to this place. I said something on a program once. I said, how is it that all these investors, crooks, and fraudsters could come in Grenada under the NNP administration and con the government of all these millions and millions, and none of these people go to jail? None of these people are arrested. None of them charged. Nothing happened. And then you hear about.
I think some of the people that con Grenada was actually
have all this foreign
trouble.
And I sat and said, but wait, what if these people sit down and they say, okay, well, boy, if we con the country of $54.2 million, and then you just send a little thing in one of them bank accounts somewhere, somehow, in the Bahamas or wherever they have the bank account, nothing will happen. Nobody will arrest nobody. Nobody will go anywhere. But everybody go home smiling, meaning that the person who might be involved, some minister, some prime minister, some kind of thing, they go home smiling because they get a couple of million, and the investor, the crook, the fraudster get a whole pile of million, and they run away with it, and nobody go to jail. Nobody arrested. Nobody charged. Nothing happens. Sometimes you have to be thinking aloud, These people have robbed and raped Grenada of every little thing he had.
Well, it's funny. It's funny that you say that. It's really funny that you say that, because people right now, the perception is, people are saying the same thing.
But it's not reality.
That's the perception right now.
It's not reality.
Some people feel that Grenada is being pillaged right now.
Right, and that's perception. But it's not reality.
But watch, let's stay on point. Let's
get back to what I was saying. But do you honestly believe, Tim, do you honestly believe that in the annals of politics, that to even make such a statement would be appropriate?
Well, it was
the history of Grenada.
You know what?
Right now, I will embrace him. I will hug him and say it again.
Let me jump in here.
Tim, I don't believe it.
Let me jump in here, Perry. Let me say something here. A statement was made that it could mean anything. But on the other hand, the same gentleman that is making the complaint about the statement called a man to his house and offered to pay him $10,000 to kill another.
Slow down, cowboy. Slow down, cowboy. That again is allegation.
Let me say this. Let me disclaim this.
Well, I mean, I saw you sure about it, but slow down, cowboy.
These are
a gentleman called another gentleman to his house and offered to pay him. Furthermore, paid him $10,000.
Listen.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Paid $10,000 in cash to take the life of another Grenadian because he was following him with a loudspeaker, calling his names.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on.
I have a lot of love and respect for the gentleman you're talking about, right? I have a lot of love and respect for certain things he did in politics. But I would take everything he says with a grain of salt.
Hold on. Take a little drink of water, guys. Hold on, guys. We this is our final break. We gotta take a break. We'll be right back. Don't move.
Looking for the ultimate island experience?
You need to distance yourself from that.
Tuk Tuk Rum Punch Tour and explore Grenada like never before. Feel the tropical breeze, sip on authentic Caribbean rum punch, and cruise through Grenada's stunning scenery in our unique and fun tuk-tuks. It's the perfect blend of adventure and island flavor. Book your unforgettable tour now at ride.gd or call 473-422-1011. Don't just see Grenada, experience it with Ride Tuk Tuk Rum Punch Tours today.
This guy's Ridealong Live is brought to you with the kind compliments of Ride Tuk Tuk Tours. All right, let's take a quick call. Let's take a quick call. Caller live, where you calling us from?
I'm calling from Brooklyn. Hello to your guests.
Brooklyn, go
It
right
is
ahead.
amazing that sometimes people speak and they don't have no facts. So I want to go back a bit. When you talk about low income, is there a standard for low income that Mr. Batizo was talking about? If there is one, then it should indicate. Yes, with regard to the purchase of houses. Well, the purchase of houses from the Housing Authority, the Sandino Complex in Grand Dance, those are public records. So if Mr. Batis wants to talk about that, he could look and find. I mean, in the month of September, there were like about 10, not 10, there were about 6 people who bought houses in St. David's and St. George's for the $73,000. The names are there. It's public record, you know. Noel, Henry, Edwards, Frederick. I don't want to call the first name. So Mr. Batis must get his information and present it appropriately. Right. On the other hand, we're talking about a statement made. Well, there is a gentleman who was asking who made the statement. For sure, he must have known from his conversation who made the statement. But people playing the game as though they don't know who made this statement with regard to you're lucky to be alive. Well, you're lucky to be alive could mean many things. That's not calling for the death of anyone. You're lucky you didn't stump your toe. Does it mean that I want you to stump your toe? No, so it depends on people's interpretation. And I think we need to be a bit more factual when we're speaking on many topics. How could you compare a child that is 5 years old and somebody who is 18 years old? There are reasons why you have ages for children participating in sport in school. You have a situation in Grenada where a revolution, Gary, NNP, NDC, they have served Grenada for a number of years. Well, analyze them by their years now. The revolution was 4.5 years. There were very good things and there were a lot of bad things where people got tortured and people got jailed for no reason at all. However, how could you compare? How could you compare an NNP government, 20 plus years, a decade in office, with another government that's only there now for 2.5, coming up on 3 years? There's so many people you have on the program. They really have a brain? They're really thinking? Something got to be wrong.
All right, thank you, caller.
Have a blessed evening.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right, guys. Wow, we way above time. We have to wrap, guys. So we go get our final round. Michael had something to say. Let me start with Michael. Michael, I know you was trying to get some words in. You could go ahead right now.
I think it was disgusting hearing Django making those baseless allegations about all of that, and I was implying that you should distance yourself for the integrity of the program. You should distance yourself from those kind of malicious and I listened to Kim too, and I don't know if we're talking about the 2.5 years of NDC achievement in office, or if we're going back to the historical past of what went on under previous administration. So I think we should keep things in the proper perspective. When I got a call from you this morning, this afternoon, I readily accepted, because without even reading from the benefit of notes or looking at any notes, I can tell you off the top of my head the things that I see going on or not going on in the country, and all the wrong things that's taking place in the government. Now I'm hearing Kim come with a compilation of things that happened 20 years ago, 30 years ago, and all of that. I don't know. I am disappointed that I'm not hearing about the transformation agenda. I'm not hearing about the economic development of the country. Earlier I heard Perry said something which was very, very interesting. He said when Morris Bishop traveled with people, they all slept in one room because Morris wanted to save the country as much money as possible for the people. Unlike this guy here, and this prime minister that we have, this prime minister lives, forget Mount Royal, and is living in a $26,000 a month rent house at taxpayers' expense, while people are struggling to get their children to school, while there's no medication at the hospital. You understand? While people are being taxed, the water has been cut off and can't even afford reconnection because of the high taxes. But So I thought that is what we were going to be discussing here today. The people of Grenada heard all the things that the NNP did. They heard the good things and they heard the bad things. And they made a decision in 2022. And they brought in some new players on board. And they said, we're not going back there. Take us to a new frontier. But so far, all I've seen is not transformation, but comparison. What was bad? Kit Mitchell did this, and Kit Mitchell did that. So it's okay for Deacon to do this, and it's okay for Deacon to do that. Folks, when would this end? When would we say we made a change? We didn't get an exchange, we made a change. And let's see the results of the change. When are we going to say, and I was expecting you and Django to outpower us here tonight with a long list of accomplishments by this government in rural Grenada and a long list of accomplishments for our young people. When they campaign, they say, we don't have to reinvent the wheels. I heard you coming here tonight and you're talking about there's shortages of skilled people. I heard the Prime Minister said, we do not have to reinvent the wheels. We will put a wing in each school for technical education so we could train our young people. So why are we coming here today talking about shortages? In 2.5 years, you know how many people we could have trained to do carpentry, plumbing, electrical, refrigeration? We must stop this crybaby stuff and let's start dealing with the facts as adults. Stop this negative comparison.
All right.
Okay.
Here what the complaint that I made about not having skilled individual. This is Ian Thomas's observation. I spoke directly from the manifesto that was presented in 2022. Yes. So what
did you do about it?
No, like I told you, what was offered, what was proposed to the people, I gave them a passing grade. I could call them out for you. They are on the screen in front of me. I went online today after Junior called me and told me that it's a 2.5 year program. I called around for the manifesto to make sure that we're in line with what was proposed to the people. So, for example, payment of pension, page 10 is number 1 item. Twice monthly salary payments, that is also there. Minimum wage, national minimum wage. Construction of a modern hospital. The introduction of national health insurance scheme and fund. Construction of 500 high-quality Grenadian-style family homes. Free education up to term CC. Yes? 85% of what I just called was done. I move on to page 11. Facilitation of reliable and cost-effective travel between Grenada and Carriacou. New plane was organized for that. Larger planes to go to Carriacou. Correct or not? Working on night landing now. Correct or not? Launching of the National Spice Replanting Program. Did we see that happen last year?
No, I heard he said plant black pepper. I didn't hear you talk about.
No, it happened because let me tell you something.
I didn't hear you talk about.
One day I was driving.
He said
after
barrel.
I was driving down the Eastern Corridor, and when I reached in Lhasa Jess, there was a team of people from the Ministry of Agriculture handing out cinnamon, nutmegs, clove plants to regular Grenadians that wanted one or a few to go into their properties and plant.
That's photo app.
No, hold on.
Photo app.
No, I continue with the manifesto. Provision of free Wi-Fi internet access nationwide. Paying our sportsmen and sportswomen. Yes? Restructuring and upgrading the Imani program. Empowering local constituencies or parishes. Securing social safety nets. Establishing a cultural and creative economy. Establishing a cannabis industry. Did we not see all these things take place? Probably not 100% of it, but did we not see efforts made in the direction to ensure that these things happen? Did we not see a new creative economy? We don't have a creative economy ministry? Department?
No, we don't have an economy.
Right. All right. Perry, your closing remarks. I think we have to probably come back another time because we went way over time there, but we have to wrap up now.
Yeah, totally agree. But basically, I would like to say, as I've said, when you fire an employee and you hire another employee, and we all agree, we always say, we always talk in, idealistic ways and say, oh, well, the government is employed by the people of Grenada and they're supposed to serve the people of Grenada. So when, excuse me, so when you hire a new employee, you expect that new employee to do much better. The anticipation is that new employee will do much better than the previous employee. So you cannot say, okay, I had a new employee and I'm going to look at what the old employee did to compare what the new employee is doing. And if they're on par, they say, oh, well, I've done well. No. That new employee has to add to the productivity of your company exceedingly for it to have worth it to change and hire a new employee. So I think overall, we can say that the initial win of the NDC was all euphoric. Everybody was happy. You know, I mean, a lot of people, in all honesty, wanted a change. And some people voted for a change. But you have on the ground right now, the very people who voted for that change are telling you that they haven't seen the change. And it seems like the same old, same old. So I think that if there's so many things that you've spoken about, Ian, I think that the NDC has to do a better job of letting the Grenadian public know exactly all the things that they're doing. And all the photo ops, so again, a little throwing a little concrete on the ground, building a little culvert. You could get people in the neighborhoods to do that. You could actually get people right in the neighborhoods to do that. Myself, as a diasporist, right, can look at it and says, I can look at any NNP minister's page and see all of those things, the little roads, the little culvert. I can look at their page and see the exact same thing being done. So that don't move the needle for you. If you show little photo ops where you're dropping a little concrete here and dropping a little concrete there. And again, as I've said, the perception is that this current administration is in the same old eating of food too much. Remember we said, oh, all the eating of food done. That's over with. But I understand the nature of politics. Of course, you're going to take care of people who help you to get where you wanted to go. But ultimately, have to take care of that man and woman and that child at the bottom of the barrel so that they don't have a problem.
Right.
That your chance of not being a one-term party would be secured if you take care of that man and woman in the ground who you depend upon.
All right. I'll go to Kim for the final closing word. But while you were talking a little before, I sent out a poll. Now, this poll got activated in everyone that's watching in their phones, right? It popped up in their phone. Right now, we have 1,709 viewers. We have a total of over 1,000 people watching on YouTube, and the rest on Facebook. So it's and we have some folks watching on TikTok as well. Hi TikTok and all over. But I did a poll on the viewership, right? And the question was, who won this debate? Now, it's all about optics, and if you were able to shift the needle in any particular way based on your articulation and based on your points made today, and I would reveal that in a short while, how the poll is going. It's still moving. People are still voting. Guys, if you have not yet clicked on the question in the poll, please do so now. At the end, I would reveal where the poll is, if anything was able to shift in any particular direction. Kim, your final closing word, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Junior. I want to rebut two things that Michael said. This whole talk about no medication in the hospital, that's a lie from the pit of hell. These are all talking points of the NNP. They are accustomed with that kind of rhetoric and that kind of loose talk. You don't expect the most honorable Deacon Mitchell to go in a bat-infested, rat-infested hole in Mount Welldale. This is colonial, it's old, it's age. Ask Keith Mitchell why he was not there as often as you thought he was there. And ask him after Hurricane Ivan, where he was living and who was paying that rent and everything like that. All right, I want to know, because you believe that our beloved Prime Minister would bring in guests and dignitaries and so on and bring them in this rat-infested, bat-infested old colonial building. That's not going to be possible. So you can stay there and grind and groan and bawl and scream about the money that must be paid for the rent of our beloved Prime Minister and his staff. Well, I'm moving from there. I want to say this. The NDC administration gave 100% concession to the creatives, the people who were forgotten under the NNP administration. The NNP administration did not care about the creatives during their tenure, during their time in power, right? The photographer, the podcaster, the radio announcer, the artist, those who sing soca or reggae or whatever, the person who does a little craft and so on. The NNP never cared about these people. There was this partnership with Tam Sisi for creatives, with the scholarship, and they had the first cohort of creatives who graduated from the first couple courses and programs, and they must be commended. They are now given loans and grant aid to support the creative in that area. We also know of an agro-processing plant somewhere in Lasso, just somewhere in St. David area, that they only recently started to help farmers to add value to what they have. I want to commend the police. I think they're doing a fantastic job in terms of community outreach. They're doing a fantastic job in curbing gun violence. Well, they did that nicely, and they continue to maintain that. I want to commend Acting Commissioner Randy Connaught and his team. You're doing a fantastic job. The Grenadian people love you, and we commend you. Continue to do the community outreach where you can forge a better relationship with the community, and you can get information there easily. I want to, in closing, thank the people who were on the panel and still on the panel. Perry, we don't agree always, but at the end of the day, you have your opinion, you have your view, and I respect it, and I will always put forward mine, and you don't have to agree with it totally. Sometimes you might agree with some. I want to thank my good friend, Michael Batiste, and when I see you, it's just pure love. We may disagree on certain things. I may tell you how I feel, but at the end of the day, we cool. Eon, we're brothers, Youth for Change, and even beyond that, I appreciate you and I love you. And Junior, it's always a pleasure being on the most popular platform, I think, not just domestically, but internationally, in terms of the diaspora, bringing information to people, having a platform and having a space where people can converse and learn. And I really want to applaud you, Junior. And, we all are friends in all of this. And maybe
But I also like to applaud you, Kemp, because I must say that in recent times, very near recent times, I've seen that you've calibrated a lot on your program, and that must be complimented.
Thanks, man.
In terms of your approach to things, that you're starting a little more to accentuate the positive, and that's
Beautiful.
a very good thing. Hopefully you stay on that track.
All right, so let me reveal the poll. So I asked the question, who brought across the strongest points here in terms of the panelists, and I'm going to show it, so there is no, hanky-panky. Let me see. Did I still use that word? Let me see if I can bring it up. Okay, you may not see too big there. All right, so I have Ian and Kem and Perry and Michael, and we have 277 voters in this particular viewing the program right now, and it's going up 278, which are equivalent of 94% is saying that Kem and Ian brought across the strongest points here, and Perry and Michael is at 6% of that particular poll. Again, it's a snap election here based on who they thought brought across the most significant, strongest points, and this is in no way scientific. So that's what it is. It's at what is now 283 and going up 18 to Michael and Perry. So they need a little move much today, guys, based on the viewership that we just saw. But thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for chilling. And also, guys, I have to invite everyone. Perry, if you're in Grenada, you jump on a tuk-tuk now.
Well, I would. I would. You definitely know I would.
Michael, big up yourself, my brother. All right?
Thanks again, Junior, and it was a pleasure being with all of you guys.
Always.
We'll see in the
Yes,
future.
All right, thank you so much, guys.
Yes,
Absolutely.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Yeah.
Take care, guys.
Yeah, man. Right along live, it's nice to converse with minds that may share different perspective. But I think that one thing that we know for a fact that all these guys, they love Grenada. They have difference of opinion, but that doesn't mean they don't love Grenada. All right. So big up to Michael Batiste, big up to Perry Campbell, big up to Ian Django Thomas, and big up to Kem Jones for joining us here today. Let's take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back. Right Along Live.
Mark your calendars, Grenada, for one spectacular event. Join us at the Bushes U playing field on Sunday, March 2nd for the National Democratic Congress sensational rally from 4 p.m. Be inspired by our distinguished guests, including Prime Minister Roosevelt Scarrett of Dominica and Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre of St. Lucia. Plus, hear from our very own political leader and Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell and more. Enjoy electrifying performances from top artists like Young Man, Booba, Rooney J. Also Mandela Links, Squeezehead, and Muddy.
Of course, we always up in the front.
This is your chance to engage, be inspired, and celebrate with us. Don't miss out on this unforgettable rally. Organize your transportation and your flags, bandanas, drums, shells, bells, and head down to Bushes U to be part of this transformation.
Cause I believe in the truth, and I just wanna live good.
Are you a progressive young leader, a proactive emerging executive, a rising professional? Then you need appropriate cover for your vehicle. Introducing the Promoter plan from Beacon. Car insurance that includes free loss of use, windscreen cover up to $3,500, free special perils, free accident forgiveness. Get Beacon's Promoter plan today. Don't procrastinate. Call Beacon today at 440-4447 or
What if you had a choice? A choice of joining a line or a choice of making your purchases online? What would you choose? While you ponder on that, the National Lotteries Authority has provided another purchasing option. All their games are now available online. Yes, Grenadians! From wherever you are, purchase your favorite daily and jackpot type games using any electronic device. Register on the NLA's website at www.nla.gd. Top up your account and enjoy online lottery gaming at your convenience. We're taking shopping comfort up, several notches. But the choice is yours. Join a line or buy online. NLA, make your dreams come true.
Yeah. Guys, listen, we have a new program concept coming up on Thursdays, guys. Now, it's called the Court of Public Opinion. Let me see if I can get my, right there. You see? The Court of Public Opinion. This is the whole concept, right? So, somebody owe you money, or a family member do something to you, right? And you want justice. You want it to be prevail. You want to bring it forward here on the program to get the public opinion on it, right? And give public justice to the whole story. So we give you a chance to present your side of the story. We give the other person, the accused, to present their side of the story. They battle it out, and then you, the public, vote on who have the strongest point, right? So the Court of Public Opinion is, listen, if you want to be a guest, someone who do you something, someone owe you something, even a family member, you know what I mean? You can bring it right here on the Court of Public Opinion. Every Thursday, it could be a very interesting program, guys. Now, if you feel like you don't want to, bring forth the story and you feel like you need a representative, yeah, you could also do that. You could get somebody to speak on your behalf and present your story on your behalf, right? So the Court of Public Opinion, Ride Along New Concept program, and that's going to be on Thursdays, all right? If you want to be on, just give us a call and we'll set you up to be on the court of public opinion. And we have some representative. We have some good, if you want Django to represent you, or if you want Cam to represent you, if you want to, you have a lawyer that you want to come and represent you, bring them on Ridealong Court of Public Opinion, guys. Bring them here. Yeah. Also, guys, we got to pick up the NDC St. David branch election, and that's happening on the 27th of February. That's Thursday. Yeah, Thursday. And that goes on at 6 p.m. For more information on that, you can call 444-4632 or 404-8632. All right? Or you could check them out. Send an email to stdavid@ndcgrenada.org. Guys, I can't tell you enough about the remarkable tuk-tuks. Have you got a chance to book a tuk-tuk tour yet? What are you waiting for? Let me tell you something, guys. If you have a girlfriend or women, if you have someone that you love and you want to impress them, give them a tuk-tuk tour. Say, baby, I want to take you out on a tuk-tuk. I want to take you out on a date. Leave the car at home. You have your own chauffeur. We have drinks, everything in the tuk-tuk. And you get to choose too, eh? We have all kind of different colors of tuk-tuk. Yeah, get it red. We have one called Miss Sunshine. That's coming out soon. It's an 8-seater. Yeah? So book a tuk-tuk excursion tour. And it don't have to be like going to all those those spots that you think, okay, you have to be a tourist to go to it. And there's no problem with doing that. But you could actually book a date night, a bar hopping date night aboard the tuk-tuk. All right, so call right now if you wanna book a date on the tuk-tuk. This is the number that you call, 473-422-1011. Write that number, stick it on your fridge. Yeah, book a date on the tuk-tuk. Call right now and say yeah. Now you can book a date any day of the week. Call Ride right now. 473-422-1011. It's Ride. Why?
On live, if you please, bring it home with such ease. Ride along, join the dance, let's sing the song. From island to island strong.
Exactly. I got a lot of different tuk-tuk colors to choose from. Okay? Now if you're getting married, yeah, and you want to have your bridal party on a tuk-tuk, that too, you know. Yeah, man. How you mean? Get a whole fleet of tuk-tuks, 4 tuk-tuk with the mother of the bride, father of the bride. The bride could probably get the white one. I hope you guys saw the white one. You guys didn't see the white one? Nah, man. You seriously didn't see the white one? The white one is called the Pure Spice. Pure Spice is the white one. I will show you the white one, eh? And that's for the bride. I can see the bride in the white one. Yeah? Leave the white one for the bride. Where's the white one? Let me see if I can pull up a picture. Where is it? Can't see it. Anyway, I'll go show you the white one tomorrow. But the white one is for the bride. Okay? Call Ride Excursions and Tours and book your tuk-tuk tour today. Or go to ride.gd. That's ride, spell RYDE.gd. Online right now. Ride.gd. Ride.
Looking for the ultimate island experience? Hop on the Ride Tuk-Tuk Rum Punch Tour and explore Grenada like never before. Feel the tropical breeze, sip on authentic Caribbean rum punch, and cruise through Grenada's stunning scenery in our unique and fun tuk-tuks. It's the perfect blend of adventure and island flavor. Book your unforgettable tour now at ride.gd or call 473-422-1011. Don't just see Grenada, experience it with Ride Tuk Tuk Rum Punch Tours today.
Yeah, so guys, that's the white one. That's the Pure Spice. Pure Spice Tuk Tuk. Book a Tuk Tuk tour today. Call 473-422-1011. That's 473-422-1011. Let's ride. Also, guys, if you want to advertise on the most viewed platform, right? Ridealong Live, give us a call. Call 718-701-5720, because you know why? It pays to advertise. Yeah.
Are you looking to take your business or event to the next level? Advertise on Ridealong Live and reach over 10 million viewers worldwide every month. With a global audience tuning in for the latest news, entertainment, and culture, your message will get the exposure it deserves. Don't miss the opportunity to showcase your brand to a diverse and engaged audience. Ridealong Live, where the world watches and your business grows.
Again, guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for being a part of our program. On behalf of all of our production crew here at Ridealong Live, our senior executive producer, Lois, JJ, hey, Gail, Kibbs, how you doing? Catch you guys again tomorrow. Good night.
Live, if you please, bringing hope with such ease. Ride along, join the dance, let's sing the song. From island to island, strong with the host, we belong. Energy high, heart so bright, tune in, feel the light. Global love taking flight, every ride a sheer delight. Making waves across the seas, love and joy in the breeze. Ride along live if you please, bringing hope with such ease. Ride along, join the dance, let's sing the song. From island to island, strong with the host, we belong. Ride along live, worldwide. Feel the beat, feel the vibe. Amazing host leading the ride. Power to the people we shine. Giving fans what they need. Caribbean spirit, let's succeed. Every show with a good deed. Together we plant the seed. Ride along, join the dance, let's sing the song. From island to island, strong with the host, we belong. Energy high, heart so bright. Tune in, feel the light. Global love taking flight. Every ride a sheer delight. Making waves across the seas. Love and joy in the breeze. Ride along live if you please. Bringing hope with such ease. Ride along, join the dance, let's sing the song. From island to island.